Take us away.
Yeah, Sven Gilhard in control of the field now, and he does indeed accelerate. And we are under green for the Daytona 250, round one of the NASCAR Championship here at .RACE9. And already the field fans out going down towards NASCAR Turn 1. Gilhard's on the outside, but hasn't got any help there at all, really. Sorry, the outside line hasn't got any help. Gilhard's on the inside and now getting towards the front. It's all starting to go towards the bottom already. There's already a bit of a crash, and one of the cars has gone spinning to the bottom already. Don't quite know who that was. It looks like it might have been Joe Gustatis, actually. Yes. The American driver already gone for a big spin down to the inside, and Sven Gilhard has already got nearly a second lead. He's completely on his own.
Yeah, impressive start by Gilhard, the Dutchman. Absolutely. I think he profited as well from the chaos that was going on right behind. So you can say drivers already going 3 wide aside on the backstretch. That's going to end up in, hopefully not too much tears, but that's been something to get us off right. Exactly. Of course, as you said before, drivers will want to go slow, but now it's game time for Gustavo Brzezinski and whoever's going to follow him to push back to get into the lead or catch up to Gilhard in front.
Yeah, it's John McDonald at the moment pushing Gustavo Brzezinski, and he's actually trying to overtake him now. The lanes are starting to form a little bit as John McDonald is leading the middle one. We're 3 wide in the background already. The bronze car, car into the wall, 47 going right around, I think that is. And Pedro Lopez dropping way down the order after a big spin with one of the cars as well. He tried to force it 3 wide, did Pedro Lopez in that corner. Gustavo Brzezinski is the one who's gone around in the 97 and pulled it out in front of someone there. But it's all staying green once again. More pushing, more sliding. John McDonald's car looks particularly slidey at the moment. He doesn't look in much control of it, it has to be said.
Well, there's some prompt drafting action going on the backside as we watch on. And there's a full course yellow first one out after 3 laps, or basically after 2.5 laps. And now drivers slow down to catch up to the safety car. And hopefully they do all that in a very safely and peaceful manner. Okay. Quick time to catch up to what has happened. Sven Gilhard has stayed in the lead. We can sum up that, I guess. But that was an eventful start. I think we had 2 major ones already. Thankfully not catching out too many cars, like 3 cars have been involved. But yes, that's been quite some hectic start for most of these guys.
Yeah, it has been quite a hectic start. Joe Gustatis has gone to the inside. We saw there he had a pretty big spin off of turn 2 on lap 1 in the end after having a pretty decent start. He was pushing quite well on the bottom, but in the end went for a spin, and he's managed to stay on the lead lap, much to his satisfaction there. He'll be pleased about that. However, Pedro Lopez and Gustavo Brzezinski have both lost a lap, I'm afraid. So 24 cars on the lead lap. Now, Gustatis is the last of them, but Lopez and Brzezinski already a bad start to their season because they have lost a lap, and it's going to be difficult for them to earn it back.
There's the lucky dog rule applied, so they should give back the lead lap as soon as they are the leading lapped car, basically. So they basically rejoin the group at the very end of the back, waved through by the safety car. There have been some crashing going on behind the safety car. I cannot actually see it. Have you seen that? Because there's a lot of smoke in the air, turn 3 and turn 4.
I did see a lot of smoke, but I don't know if that was just people locking up really to try and avoid the car in front, or whether there was actual crashing there. But I didn't see any actual crashing. Not sure. Somebody, 2 takers for pit lane, a dummy from John McDonald, but Gabriel Turalbo, making a pit stop. It's actually for a stop-go penalty, I believe. He got that straight off the start, might have jumped the start and been given a 5-second penalty of some description, but Turalbo of Spain going into the pit lane now just gets slots into his box, and he's going to serve a stop-and-hold penalty, which is going to drop him to the back of the lead lap.
But he's still staying on the lead lap, which is absolutely worth just do your pit stop and go penalty right under the full course yellow, and then go back out. I think it wasn't that far up the order anyway, so I think he doesn't lose too much in general. There's another car in the pit. Sorry, kid, I was about to say. Number 90, that is Jonathan Holohan from Portugal, racing for Bravo Racing Team. He just overtook Turalbo in the pit lane, and these two are now catching up back up to the cars on the behind the safety car queue. Number 99 was also in the pits. I think that's been Joe Gustatis. Yes, exactly. Perhaps for damage repairs.
Perhaps, but also because if you're last in the queue, you're only going to be last anyway, so you might as well come into the pit lane and top off with fuel, because if it gets a bit fuel mileage-ish later on, then you want to have as much fuel in as possible. So if you're last anyway, then I think Gustatis figured that he might as well have come into the pit lane because he wasn't going to lose anything. The lucky dog rule, as you mentioned a minute ago, is in effect, and so Pedro Lopez has been given it, despite the fact he was involved in the caution. He's been given the lucky dog, so he is now back on the lead lap, and we have 25 cars with Gustavo Brzezinski trapped a lap down, so he's going to go into the pit lane here, I think. That's why you can see him on the apron, although the pace car's coming in right now. So it looks like we're going back to green straight away here, and Sven Gilhard's going to be in control of the field with Gustavo Brzezinski in not a great position. So single file restart as we go back green with still 95 laps remaining. Hopefully this start is a little bit cleaner, but Brzezinski needs to be very careful there. I think he has, and done the sensible thing. So single file restart, and now people trying to get something working on the top lane at the moment, already taking it free wide with the 21 car of Sorinius Vicius, difficult name to say, but slots back into line quickly.
But you can see Sven Gilhard gets good bump draft from John McDonald in P2 currently, but the outside line's pushing very hard as well. Gilhard and John McDonald know each other. They are teammates in iRacing. Just did the Daytona 500 as well there. So I think these guys know what they're doing, or at least they try to know what they're doing. if that's the thing to say. The outside lane has dropped back a bit. I think front pack is gonna calm down a little bit. Oh, there's been a spin just as I say it. Massive spin right in the pack. Hope everyone can avoid him.
On down the track as well as Lucas Murno in the 95, and there are cars everywhere, at least 5 cars involved in that one in the end. Oh dear me, big spins and big crashing for a lot of those guys, and real shame to see. I don't know who else is involved. Gustavo Brzezinski involved again for the second time, so he's got involved in a second incident. We're under caution again here because of that big spin for Lucas Murnau. He went up into the wall. I thought he was going to be okay. I thought most people were going to survive, but then because of the banking, he just rolled down on the track, rolled into the path of everybody, collected people like Nathan Matos in the red and white car there. So a lot of people involved, and another big crash, I'm afraid.
Yes, we're just watching it on the replay. I think you were bumped drafted by Gabriel Peckley. No, he was spun around by some white car. I can't, unfortunately, not say who that exactly was. And yeah, as you said, basically no chance. He tried to avoid cars coming on, but yeah, as soon as you spin in front of the pack, you're basically screwed.
Yeah, you've had it then, really. Gabriel Toralbo has somehow managed to find himself behind the safety car, but in front of the leader, and I'm not entirely sure how, whether he's... I don't really know how that's happened, but there's a big crash in the... Yeah, another big crash in the background there, I'm afraid. I don't know who that was going off to the middle, but people slowing down for the safety car and not quite realising that there's going to be a train in front of them. But yeah, Toralbo is currently stuck between the safety car and the leader, and I don't quite know why he's there, but he's currently leading the field, even though he's not leading the race.
Yeah, that's indeed a weird one. I'm quickly jumping into the replay to see what happened. Oh no, the safety car just came out right in front of him. Oh man, that's super unlucky.
He should be let through, surely, at this point.
I think so too.
But at the moment, it doesn't look like that's actually happening. So, interesting one there. Don't know quite what that's about, but he's one of the very few Chevrolets in the field here today. Not very many of them, as I said, 5 in the entry list overall. In its entirety, so I don't quite know how many there are on the actual grid right now, but this field is completely dominated by Fords, as you can see from the front of the order, and as you can see from the entry list as well, as Gustavo Brzezinski gets his lap back and goes into 25th, but Toralbo has been completely screwed over there because he's trapped the lap down.
Yeah, absolutely. You see it right. He's also now letting other cars pass through. I think Game told him to do that, and that's bad luck, but then again, as I said before, Lucky Duck rule is applied, or can be applied later, so as soon as another maybe 2 or 3 full course yellows comes out, he might be back on the lead lap, so it's not completely over for him. Bad situation to be in, of course, as I said, but not the end of the race, luckily.
Yeah, fortunately. So Sven Gilhard is still leading the field ahead of John McDonald, and then another FRA car, Alessandro Valente, who is in 3rd place, Italian driver for FRA, and then behind him in the orange and black 91 car, Jonathan Sperto and Gabriel Pichli in the 13, then the all-white car of Manuel Alvarez, then Richard Wanders, the Netherlands driver for Total Commitment Racing.
There's a spin. There's another spin. I think it was one of the Fords, obviously. Number 51 it was.
I don't quite know who that is, actually. Victor Angel, actually, is who I think it is. But yeah, safety car is breeding some problems for some of these guys, actually. We'll see if the safety car does indeed come in, or the pace car, or whatever you want to call it. It's coming in at the end of this lap. We'll see what the restart's like. If it is, it's not coming quite just yet. So maybe on the next lap, we will get the safety car in. But staying under yellow just for another lap. It looks like everybody's staying out on the track as well. So no pit stop takers, but one more lap under caution before we go green again.
We do have one pit stop, Lucas Murno, as he said, number 95. He was involved in that crash, and actually our car stands right in the way there. Bad luck for him, but I think that's for repairs. And he'll try to rejoin the pack towards the end of the lap. But we should go green afterwards, right after that, as you said, at the end of the lap. And it's a thing. Americans don't say yellows breed yellows for no reason. And we've seen that quite a lot already. Hopefully our driving will be a little bit cleaner. We can see some good action going on through the race without much interruptions of full course yellows. But yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, these guys have got to remember that there's still 90 laps remaining in this race, and they don't need to try and win it right now. It's still, even if they go green the whole way, it's still going to be over an hour, and that's a long time to be staying out of trouble. So just riding around at the back at the moment, I think we've got to watch out for some people who we haven't really seen so far, people who we haven't mentioned their name at all. If you keep your car clean, then you're going to have undamaged aero, which is very important. Because I can sense already that a lot of these people on the circuit right now have already got some aero damage, and you can't be, you don't really want to be dealing with that around the circuit that is flat out for another 90 laps. So it's going to be a real problem for those who have got aero damage. The lights are now off on top of the safety car. We're going to get a 2x2 restart this time. This is how we're supposed to be doing it, but it didn't exactly cause us. It wasn't exactly boring, the last restart, was it? With some people trying to jump the start there a little bit on the third row, trying to just preempt it ever so slightly. 13 tried to do that. As Gabriel Peachley just went straight into the back of the FRA car in front, Alessandro Valente, and in what he's done is put the two FRA cars way out in front. They're pushing together quite well, working together very well indeed. As further back, it's all side by side. Looks like a little bit of a cleaner restart though, with the top 5 or 6 slot into one single file line on the bottom.
Yeah, it was quite clean restart, as you said this time by. But in the mid pack, I wonder if Alessandro Valente perhaps got a. Oh, what's number 91 doing? He's on the grass and they're trying to reach her. Oh man, that was super close to actually spinning right in front of the pack. But yeah, I was about to say that Valente perhaps gets a penalty for the game for jumping the start. Perhaps some dirty tactics going on and by McDonald, but there's someone going into the pits right as we restarted. That's unfortunate. He's going to lose a lot of time. Number 13, that is, into the pits.
Gabriel Peachley.
Ah, yeah, okay.
He was the one who did run into the back of Valente there, so I'm not surprised in some way that he has got a penalty. Carl Magnus Borre also got a stop-go penalty for his antics. Oh, it's very, very sketchy up at the front group. Even this front 5, which are running single file at the moment and staying completely out of trouble. They've done very, very well to separate themselves from the field by about a second. Involved within it is Sven Gilhold, still leading the race. He's led all of the 11 laps so far. Looks like he's about to lead his 12 ahead of his teammate Alessandro Valente. Then Manuel Alvarez. John McDonald is fourth. He's got a spinner in the background. Yes. Who is that, we wonder?
I missed it. Number 21.
Larinavicius.
Yeah, Salius Larinavicius unfortunately spun right out of the pack. He also has some aero damage. I wonder if he impacted into the wall. But he's now trying to regroup and get back into the rhythm. And yeah, basically just stay on track as long as he can.
Free wide in the second group here with Alfie Bevin on the inside line. It was with one of his FRA teammates actually, but it's all single filed a little bit out now. Good pushing as well from a couple of the drivers, Felipe Muniz and Jonatas Berto, trying to get to this front group, which are working very, very well indeed. The top 5 are just working so much better. You can see how crazy it is in that group behind. And it's no wonder, really, as Gabriel Peachley's trying to not lose a lap here, but he is going to go one lap down. He's going to be in that big fight, which is going to get even bigger, actually, which is going to be for the first car. One lap down. There's a big crash in the background, and that is involving at least 5 cars once again, and we're under caution for the third time.
Oh, Pablo Lopez in there as well. He's the one who's throwing up the yellows for today, I think. Number 53, you saw that quickly in the background. And a lot of... is that Camaros? Yeah, a lot of Camaros caught up in that one. We were speaking about them beforehand, and unfortunately, most of them already spinning or getting some aero damage, which is not good for them, is it?
No, not particularly. So Alfonso de Marcos was involved. Jesus Tiranos was, I think Jonathan Houlihan, as well as Pablo Lopez, Mateus Gomez, who we haven't mentioned at all today, and Angel Gomez as well. Gonzalez, sorry, not Gomez. So a lot of big names are actually caught up in that one, but I think there's going to be some people disappointed to see that yellow, actually. We had a real top 5 runaway at the front of the field, and nobody could get anywhere near them. So they're going to be disappointed this is all brought back together now, and they have to do another restart and try and get that gap again.
Right, I'm just watching on replay, and it looks like one of the Camaros was spinning right back onto the front stretch and basically catching everyone out who's coming in. Several cars were just basically had nowhere to go and went into the wall, including Pablo Lopez, who just rode on board with. See all the drama unfold him in front of him, and nothing. He wasn't able to do anything. But yeah, back to the lead group, as you said, it's a very interesting one. 2 FRA cars, of course, as number 13 Gabriel Peckley gets his lap back. 2 FRA cars in front there, and 2 FCR cars in front of there as well. The FRA cars with the pink hood and the yellow numbers, and the FCR Full Commitment Racing cars with the big number 14, blue, green, and black, basically. Yeah, and of course Manuel Alvarez. We haven't spoken about him too much yet. He was looking good in the preseason tests already, so he definitely knows what he's doing as well, and trying to basically just stay with the pack, I guess, and make some good impressions, showing himself that he's there and that he should be counted in.
We've got a pit call in Carl Magnus Borre, and he's coming in to serve his stop and go penalty. Although it says it's going green there, it's not. We're still under caution for the moment. So pit stop, or stop and go at least, for Carl Magnus Borre, and a load of people coming down pit lane, actually. I think that's the 90 coming in, maybe. Yes, it is indeed. Jonathan Houlihan coming in to presumably repair some damage. Lorena Vickius is in, as well as Tyrannos, DeMarcos, Gonzalez, Angel Gonzalez taking a drive-through penalty. So a lot of drive-throughs in the end in this one. But most of the leaders deciding to stay out. I'm not entirely sure how long these guys can go on fuel. I think might be around 40 laps maybe, but it's too early to be pitting for the leaders at least now.
It's 51 laps, if I'm not completely wrong. Fuel consumption is not too high, luckily, because these cars are restricted around Daytona. That's basically how long they go, and I think they're going to stay out. I personally would have pitted at this point, just to go back into the pack and have some chances to... Oh, Lord, just nearly rejoined the track right there, but thankfully he remembered that he has to stay on the apron, or below the apron, before... right towards the end of turn 2, which he's approaching now. And I think we're going to go green this time by, is it?
We'll see in a moment if the safety car lights come off or not. But they do tend to go out off of turn 4 if we are indeed going green. But it might be one more lap after this one, waiting for us to go green again. We'll see. No, the lights are still on.
Yeah, lights still on. Pace cars up high on the banking, or on the back straight, or on front straight it is. Sorry. Still learning the corners. Ovals are not much of my I haven't commentated much of ovals on NASCAR before.
Oh.
So, sorry.
Neither have I. I've only done 1 or 2 ovals in my time, and only one... never a super speedway race like this. So, this is all a bit of a new experience, but predictable. The amount of cautions we've had so far, it has to be said, as the guys lining up 2 by 2 for this lap, because we'll be going green at the end of this one. Still 83 laps to go when we cross the line again. But I'm afraid to report we've had our first actual retirement of the official retirement of the race. To actually report, the number 19 of Nathan Matos has unfortunately retired from the race. Furious Racing Ford driver, but he's going to take no further part in this race, already a DNF. So first one of the day, still 25 cars left remaining, and all of them are actually on the lead lap at the moment. We've got a retirement already.
Yeah, unfortunate, as you said. We just seen him pulling into the pits. I think that was retirement because of, perhaps he saw no sense in continuing, unfortunately. Wonder what has happened to him. But as you say, restarts getting underway right this very moment. The lead 5 are still the same as they were before the start, of course, before the full course yellow, but as they were at the last restart. And we see how these guys work together now to get away from the pack once again. Of course, two times, 2 teammates, and one of the completely white Camaros in there as the safety car pulls off. And we can see now Sven Gaylord accelerating at any moment, which he does now. And that's a good start from him and Alvarez. And these guys all behind them going to bunch up very much. hopefully these time by we gonna stay trouble free, as guys already. Sorry, I'm missing a word there.
So at the moment I'm stuck on board at the moment, and I can't quite realise how to get off. So that's quite embarrassing. What button is it? I can't remember.
I think it's picture up, picture down to go back to the externals. If that's a thing, I don't know how it's called in English. Sorry. No.
I'll just try pressing them, but it's not working. Hang on, I'll be back with you in a second, but I'm just trying to figure this out.
Right. Okay. I'm trying to go back to the live racing action, and we've done a complete lap without any issues so far. I think there's someone going to the pits. I wasn't able to catch up who it was. Yes, number 16 and Jesus Giros again, number 7 in the 4th, and we have no trouble so far. Oh, these guys are pushing hard into the wall in the mid-pack somewhere. Let me try to find that, actually. As they go 2 wide or even 3 wide on the backside. No, it's just 2 wide, and those front row guys coming along very nicely, number 18 and number 91. Oh, there's been an FRA car to the inside of the apron, but he made it back on track very safely. But and there's a spin, another one. Number 14 was involved, and some of the front row guys have collided, and there's another full course yellow. Very unfortunate. We have seen so many of them already. I'm not entirely sure if everyone's catching up to the safety car. Nobody does get some damage or actually drive into the safety car, because in AMS, of course, as we do race in Automobilista, I think we've said that before, the safety car is known to be quite a brick. So we ride on board with number 23, Alfie Bevan, and let me quickly go back to the crash that has just happened. John McDonald, number 14, was involved in there. I think we're on the wrong lap in replay. Yes, we are. It was in the lead pack, as I said, around the outside. You can see it now. The OS front row guys from Brazil trying to get along. And number 51 it was who basically bump drafted McDonald into the corner and then led him to a spin, catching out. The other FCR car was involved in there as well. And plenty of guys spinning, but luckily not too many cars caught up in this one. There's someone spinning into the pits, and it was... Oh, what happened there? McDonald basically. He was collected by Jonathan Holohan, number 90. That's very unfortunate for Holohan as well. Plenty of cars. Who is that? Number 59, Karl Magnus Spotter from Sweden, already in the pits. He just made it immediately on the restart. As you can see, Jesus Giros catching up. I think he got the lucky dog this time by.
Fixed my problem, by the way. It's okay. I'm back now.
Okay, you're back. Nice.
I'm back now. I've fixed whatever I'd managed to do last time. So I'm back again now. Unfortunately, we are under caution again here on this one. Gabriel Tarambo has been trying to get his lap back for ages, and he's finally got himself in the lucky dog position, and he can go around again, which is a relief for him. So 24 cars now back on the lead lap out of 25, which is good to see, because he was unfairly given a lap down, actually. But at least he's back now.
Yeah, right, exactly. He was the one who was caught up by the safety car in a very unfortunate position. Plenty of guys already in the pits, once again, trying to get their pit stops out of the way, and also trying not to go a lap down. Who's that reversing in the pit? I think there's some cars stuck in front of it, in front of him. I don't know exactly who it is. It's one of these white Camaros, so hard to tell because...
Manuel Alvarez.
Manuel Alvarez. Oh, okay. He had to wait for someone in his pit box as well, so very unfortunate there. Basically out of the front-running position that he had before this full course yellow came out, and I guess he's now trying to catch up to the guys in front and get back into the lead pack. Tell you what, whoever that is in the lead, Felipe Muniz, these guys have profited so much from that full course yellow of those front row guys with the very, very recognizable Ford stripe basically on their livery, as these guys already go too wide once again.
Yeah.
And is that? Oh yeah, it's going to be a restart this side by.
Yeah, a little bit of a shorter caution on this occasion. So only the first 3 rows have actually got into double file at the moment, but we're back under green at Daytona now. Big push on the inside line there, but Felipe Muniz didn't really go anywhere there. Jonas Berto trying to get him. Oh, and Muniz goes around. He is going to be completely into the infield, and he's not going to worry anybody, so we're going to stay under green. But that's what happens when you push a little bit too hard on these starts. You can push someone a little bit into a spin, and that's exactly what's happened just there to Felipe Muniz, and he's gone to the infield now. A bit of a group starting to form with the top 11 cars or so, and they're kind of getting away a little bit, but it doesn't mean it's all single file racing. It's still 2 and even 3 wide in the background. Lorena Vicius trying to make it 3 wide again as some of them get into the wall on the outside line, but a bit of a shame there for Muniz as these guys up front get into sort of single file and start to have a bit of a cleaner restart.
Very unfortunate indeed. It was even his teammate that led to his spin, and his strap dropped back to P7 now. Lucas Miranda, I think that was. But these guys are trying to work together again as teammates, bump drafting each other. Of course, front pack does that as well. Lucas Munoz back up in P3. We talked about him before. He was caught out very early with a massive crash. Was it a spin? I think he crashed very heavily, and you can see some damage to his car on the front right. It is. Oh, no, yeah, basically all front. But he's back with the lead pack, and he's currently P3. So good work on him. By him to get back up into that position. Oh, these guys bump drafting very aggressively now.
Very, very loose on the exit of turn 4 there. Murno did well to gather that one up with Richard Wanders trying to push him a little bit into the back of the car in front to get them to go a little bit faster. But we've got a leading 5 once again. We've seen this before. And this time it contains 3 FRA sim racing cars. So they've done a fantastic job to get their cars up the order and into the front positions. Jonas Berto is working with someone else to try and get back to the front group. And this time it is Lucas Miranda's turn to go pushing. And they're trying to get back towards the front of this race. It looks a little bit cleaner on this occasion. As Joe Gastatis, having had that spin on lap 1, he's now in 8th place. It's a good recovery from the American driver, and he's got some friends as well to maybe help him get back to the front of the race.
Yes, Elias Ladovich is trying to make the outside line work, and these guys are actually, I think they're more fighting than bump drafting each other. There's one of the guest driver Fords in that pack as well, who's now darting to the outside. I think that is... I've actually lost who it is. Pedro Lopez, of course. Already mixing up these names again. Everyone who listened to me before knows that that's my thing to do. But I think Joe Gastatis is already suffering quite a lot from aero damage. He's losing out to these guys working together on the back straight. Of course, Slipstream now helping him to catch up, but he's not able to really gain a lot, even in Slipstream. So you can say, what's going on?
Sorry, the front 5 there were very, very close to a crash, but maybe if I made that noise every time they were getting near to a crash, I think I'd be making it all the time, to be honest, because constantly at the moment it looks like everybody is quite near a crash. Manuel Alvarez has been disqualified from this race for some reason. I don't know if that was manual or if that's the game has done that to him or what's gone on there, but that's a real shame to see for him. He's out of the race now.
I think there's some way to get him back to undisqualify him basically from the race, but very, very unfortunate indeed. He was running right within the front pack, as we said before, and looked quite clean as well. Perhaps some penalty by speeding in the pit lane. He didn't serve it in time. Would be interesting to catch up back to him at 1 point's time. We are waiting. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
That's all right. Richard Wanders has just been detached a little bit from the leading group, is what I was going to say there, because we have a leading 5, or we did, because it's now a leading 4. They've been working incredibly well together here. 3 FRA cars, as well as Lucas Murno as well for Bravo Racing Team, another one of the big teams in this NASCAR Championship. So they're all kind of running away with it at the moment. And I was going to say as well, this is quite dangerous for the rest of the field. If you look at if you just scroll up and down the order, and you will have seen while watching the broadcast, it's all in pieces at the moment. There's people running in 1s, in 2s, in 3s. It's not very organised. And so this front group is very organised, and it's going to put a lot of people one lap down, and it's going to really make their race very, very difficult indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, Richard Waters was just involved in this massive crash at the border. Oh, there's a spin right in front of the lead pack. There's a car facing the wrong way. Oh, I hope everyone is able to avoid that. He's trying to rejoin with on board with him, but it looks like he got selected. Massively flipping the car.
Massive crash, hit in a big, big way by one of the white Chevrolets. It's another big Chevrolet accident, and we are under caution once again. Going to try and figure out who it was. Angel Gonzalez, who had a huge head-on hit there. He was racing side by side. Didn't realise there was a car on the outside, just sat there, and that is the biggest accident we've seen so far today. He's missing his bonnet now, and so he's going to be in the pit lane right now. But wow, what a big crash that was.
We were just watching it on the replay. You could see basically who was it who spun? Was it DeMarcus, as you said? Right. Yeah. He just spun out of the pits, I think, on cold tires or fresh tires, and basically just had both of them had nowhere to go. Of course, DeMarcus facing the wrong way. And that's very unfortunate. And that brought out another full course yellow, which means we're going to regroup once again and see how race basically unfolds after that as well.
I think it's the fifth caution of the race, I think. I've lost count, if I'm completely honest. I've lost count of how many cautions we've actually had here so far. But yeah, it's been quite. There's been quite a few, really. So 21 cars on the lead lap now. Angel Gonzalez has actually got the lucky dog there. So we've got 2 cars trapped 1 lap down. Alfonso de Marcos is out of the race now. Alvarez is still disqualified, and Vinicius and somebody else still 1 lap down. So 21 cars on the lead lap, but that was the longest green flag run of the race. And it did put a few people 1 lap down.
Yeah, as you said, longest. That actually gives me hope that we just had the longest green flag period of the race. As some of these guys are darting into the pits.
Yeah, some big names now. Berto, Miranda, and Lopez all into the pit lane. Don't worry about that green flag graphic, by the way. It's not going back to green just yet. We've got quite a few pit stop callers actually, but as you say, most of these. People look like they're going to be a bit of a traffic jam, but no, it looks like most of these people, as you said earlier on, are going to be doing a one-stop race. If you can do 51 laps, then you can pretty much slice this race in half and pit about lap 50 and go to the end easily.
Yeah, exactly. These cars are now blocking some of these disqualified or retired cars. Now actually blocking some pit spots. I think that's turning out to be an issue, so people who are affected by this will certainly try to make less pit stops in general. But yeah, welcome to Automobilista, I guess. As good as the game is, it still has some flaws, some major ones. But right.
I'm not entirely sure if our car isn't causing some problems there, if I'm honest. For Gustavo Brzezinski, I've seen him moving cars out the way in the pit lane before, actually. So it might be causing a few problems, but yeah, it doesn't matter. The guys are going back too wide again. Looks like we're going green at the end of this one, with 70 to go.
Number 97, who's that?
Number 97, Gustavo Brzezinski.
Is he in the pits or has he retired?
He's still in the pit lane. He's just got out now, finally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good news for him, because he was standing right behind the queue that basically formed at our car. Of course, that
Yes. One of them is Alfonso de Marcos, who's already out of the race, so that's not helping him either. But we're back too wide again. Sven Gilhode is in control of another restart. Johannes Berto has got a penalty there, which he's going to have to serve for a 10-second stop go. But we're back under green flag racing once again with 70 laps still remaining. And it's Sven Gilhode still leading again. Good pushing from these three for the third restart in a row, I think this is at this point. Gilhode, Valente and Murno have got this sorted, and they're getting away from the field pretty much every time.
Yeah, Munoz pushing so aggressively. I was participating in the preseason test both times, and that's one of the reasons why we said no bump drafting in corners if possible. Because these cars are quite unstable when it comes to the cornering itself. And Lucas Munoz spun me around when he tried to bump draft me in the corners. Of course, it was just a preseason test, so fair enough. Good way to test it. But I'm surprised that he still does that in the race as well. But it works out. So fair enough. Kudos to him and the FRA guys in front to actually make it work.
Yeah, I think it's all about risk versus reward, really, with it. If you can do it right and do it in moderation, then I think you can get away with it and be very quick with it. You can see that this group is incredibly fast. The group of 3 Fords at the front of the field, 2 FRA cars, Volante pushing very, very hard at the moment on Sven Gierhode, who is still leading. I believe he's only not led 1 or 2 laps in this race, really. We did see another driver take the lead very, very briefly, but not for very long.
Right, these guys in the mid-pack, they're going 3 wide along the front stretch. There's plenty of cars involved, including John McDonald at the very end of that pack in number 91. To pass the spin to Felipe Muniz. These guys are basically darting into the wall side by side everywhere. That's hopefully they can keep it. There's a spin. I just say it exactly at the very moment I just say that. I think that was one of these overlapped cars.
Yeah, it's Vinicius, I think. Carlos Vinicius is able to spin around if he goes down now. He's stuck against the wall. So he's going to be in a bit of bother here unless he can get going quickly, and he can. So we will stay green, but Carlos Vinicius is already 1 lap down, I believe, and he might be about to go 2 laps down because of the way that he's lost a lot of time there. Sven Gierhode leads another lap as we go through 1/3 distance at Daytona, and it's an FRA 1-2. Lucas Murno, has been completely detached from the train, but it doesn't matter because we've got a yellow, and I don't know quite who that's for. Can't see anybody off the road, but clearly the Vinicius incident has brought out another yellow flag.
Yeah, must have been Vinicius incident, as you said. This car looks quite damaged as well. Not entirely sure if it was from this crash or one of the previous ones. But good news to him and everyone else, especially Angelo Gonzalez, who's in P23 and 2 laps down. He will be just 1 lap down after this full course yellow. Of course, he gets applied the lucky dog rule. And it's actually a good chance for these lead pack guys to go into the pits again, I think. Just get some fresh rubber on, or of course stay out and keep the lead. I mean, it's working for the FRA guys, so they probably just stay out.
Yeah, it's working out very well for FRA, but I've got a bit of a thing about that. These guys pushing each other really, really well at the moment, FRA, but what happens when we get to the last 2 laps of this race? Who is going to bump who, and where are they going to go? Are they going to play the team game and try and make sure that one of them wins, or are they all 5 of the FRA drivers who are right inside the top 10 at the moment, are they all going to think, I want to win this race, and are they going to overtake their own teammates to try and do it? That's the only thing about that, because, as we say, they're doing very well at the moment. All 5 of their cars are within, all 5 of their cars are within the top 10. Sven Gierhode leading the race. Valente, is in 2nd place. Joker Statis is in 8th place. Carl Magnus Barre is in 7th. And Alfie Bevins in the top 5 as well. So all 5 FRA cars are inside the top 10. But what's going to happen on the last laps of this race when they're all going to be in contention for the race win, we presume?
Yeah, as you said, that's going to be a very interesting and, of course, tough call. Carl Magnus Borre, the team leader from Sweden, the team racing on a Swedish license, he perhaps has, of course, the last word in this. But, we all know it, basically. Racing drivers being racing drivers, they if it goes for, such a huge win as it is in this one, you tend to ignore team orders.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people staying to the left-hand side, and here we go. Pit stops are now upon us, and they are going. So Gierhode is into his box now. He looks like he is going to take at least 2 tyres and some fuel. We'll see, but a lot of these guys deciding to come into the pit lane. Gierhode goes now. That could have been only 2 tyres at the very most from the amount of time he was stopped there. But you don't really need 4 around Daytona. The tyres are not that much of a factor. Where is he going to come out? 12th place. So 11 people have stayed out and not pitted under that caution. And so these FRA guys who have mostly decided to come in, Boré has stayed out, but the rest of them have gone in. And they've not been in the pack yet. They've not raced in this deep in the pack just for the moment. So it's going to be a very interesting next part of the race for those guys.
And very interesting as well. I was about to speak about Saulius Lauderevicius beforehand, but he's now into the lead of the race. He also was involved in 2 crashes, I think, and he's now going to lead us away for the restart. As you can see, a bit of front left damage, but aside that, I think the car looks fine. And if he is able to stay out of trouble, I think left side basically is a bit damaged. But he actually has a good chance to stay up there in the lead pack and perhaps have some good fun leading the race.
Yeah, let's hope so, at the very least. Not sure if we're going to go back to green after this lap, or whether it's going to be the next one. But Lorenavicius is leading us with most of the front runners down now outside of the top 10, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they play it with each other now. So Boré goes to the outside line of Lorenavicius now, so we are going green at the end of this one. No, we're not.
Sorry.
It's true. No, you're right. We're not on this occasion. So I believe that's Vinicius going into the pit lane for in that kind of orangey car. But one more lap, and then we should be going back green after with another 63 laps still remaining here. A good green flag run for the last couple. We're yet to see a real long green flag run. I doubt we're going to see any green flag pit stops at this point in the race. There's just not going to be the opportunity for that to actually happen.
I just noticed the car was missing the bonnet before, it's still missing the bonnet. So I don't know if that's a game bug and it actually works still fine. It's just not appearing on my screen. But or if it's actual damage and he's going to drop down even further. I think that was Angel Gonzalez. He was already 3 laps down. So even more bad news for him if it's a proper damage thing stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've got him 4 laps down actually in this one, so it's even worse for him. But he's got that damage on the bonnet anyway, so that's going to really hold him back in this one, I'm afraid. So I believe now we have 21 cars back on the lead lap, and the number 21 car is going to lead us back to green here after the 6th caution of this race. I believe it is anyway. As I said, I've almost run out of fingers to count at the moment, as it looks like Gonzalez is trying to get back to or at least get one of his laps back. Is he going to be allowed to do that, or is he going to be in an awkward place now? It looks like he's just parked himself behind the safety car, and he's going to be in a bit of an awkward place now. But we're starting to form up 2 by 2. Lorenavicius alongside Carl Magnus Boré for the lead of this race, and the safety car is indeed going to come in here. Is Gonzalez going to come in, or is he going to lead the field back to green despite the fact he's way down the order? It looks like the latter. So Gabriel Taralbo has got some damage. There's a bit of contact in the background with cars going to the inside, but Gonzalez bizarrely leads us to green with Lorenavicius in the middle of the race. And speaking of being in the middle, 3 wide for Gomez. There's already a spun car in the background. Let's hope we do indeed stay green. We don't. Straight back under caution. And that green flag run was... Oh, Jesus Chirinos is one of those involved.
Right, that was very briefly yellow. I wonder why Gonzalez wasn't overtaking the safety car. Perhaps the game just didn't tell him to do that. But that was a very weird one, especially for these guys in the lead, in the actual lead, as we just looked at the replay of Jesus Juniors to see what happened. Also, I noticed, there's been some bunching up going on in the mid-pack. The FRA guys basically not going off the line at all. And yes, they're bunching up. No chance for Chinos to do anything. He just got punted off alongside number 88. That's Lucas Miranda. Even more aero damage to these guys. But was about to say, Lorenavicius had no chance to do anything different in front. And actually an awkward one to see what was going on.
It was a little bit, as we mentioned, very, very short green flag run on that one, but Lorenavicius has retained the lead. It was hard to lose it, really, at that point, but he's retained it. And Angel Gonzalez is going to... Whoa, that was a squeeze, but he's gone through. And Angel Gonzalez now is 4 laps down instead of 5. So he's still got a long way back. But at least he's staying in the race. If he can get inside the top 15, he will get points today. It's not quite the F1 points system, by the way. I'll just reel it off. First place is 25, then you get 20, 16, 13 and 11th for 5th, and then it's 1 point increments all the way down to 15th. And the way it's going, I think we're going to have about 15 cars left by the end. So I think Angel Gonzalez is doing the right thing and at least staying in the race. And if we get even more cautions, then he's going to be able to get even more laps back.
Yeah, right. There's a spin right behind the safety car. Someone's in the grass. I'm not able to catch out who it is. But yeah, as you said, it's Joe Snyder, the American. He's going to be able to regain his position, I think. Yes, very much. And no, I was about to say before that in my taste at least, Laurent Vicious jumped the start slightly. So perhaps he's... he was at least accelerating before the acceleration zone thing, which is there's 2 white stripes on the inside of the front stretch right before the start-finish line, and you're not allowed to accelerate before that. But at least in my opinion, he did. So perhaps race control is going to have a look at that after the race and give out even more penalties. But yeah, thank God we're not the one to judge.
Yes, that is a good point. It's a hard job being a steward and figuring out all these penalties for everybody. So, glad that's not us, if we're honest, at this point. So, it looks like the guys are forming 2 by 2 on this occasion. Looks like we're only going to get 2 laps under safety car this time instead of the 3, which is what we got last time. Some free wide in the background, which is some odd forming up, but all these guys hopefully are going to be sorted out by the time we get back for the 40th time in this race. Still going to have 60 to go after this one, and it's been very stop-start in the first half. I'm hoping that we get a little bit longer in terms of green flag running in the second half of this race.
Just quickly before we restart, I've just noticed that these guys have, the guys in P3, 4 and 5 have actually caught up quite well as well. We haven't talked about them much at this point. I think it is Matthias Gomez in the black and yellow guest driver car. No, it is... Sorry, I forgot the name. Pedro Lopez in P4 actually, and John McDonald, who's been involved in that. And one of these big ones before just around lap 30 or so. He's back into P5. So yeah, a lot of shuffling going on through the grid as the lights in the safety car go out. And hopefully Laurent just doesn't accelerate too early, but he does already. Or doesn't he? Yes, he does already.
Yeah,
and he's gone into P1 quite nicely, which means that Borre slots into P2 right in the slipstream, and there's already some guys trying to make it 2 wide, which is quite okay. 2 wide, we saw that working before. And that's Pedro Lopez trying to push Matheus Gomes, as I said before, and now Borre bump drafting Laurent Vicious in the corner, and John McDonald trying to stay with them as well. There's 1 or 2 OS front row guys coming as well in the front with the 2 stripes all over the car. So we have a group. So what's going on?
Sorry, it's just a big bump. I thought that John McDonald was going to lose control, but he's just about held on here for the moment. So 5 on the bottom line and 2 of them trying to make it work on the top, but Pedro Lopez has abandoned that now, as it looks like Berto and Muniz might try and go for this on the outside line, although it's not really working for them. So we've got a top 7 running away from the rest, but the fact that Laurent Vicious went so early, maybe even too early, might cop a penalty for that after the race. But it did string the field out massively, so it was single file in the background almost, and it's been a very clean start. It's allowed us to separate us out into little groups, and they're a little bit more manageable as well to drive in. So you've got a top 7 leading at the moment, and then the rest of them are in 2s and 3s really for the rest of the field. So we may, I don't want to tempt fate, but we might get a few laps under green now for this run.
Yeah, I hope so. As we just look on Laurent Vicious, he's getting bump drafted very nicely by Karl Magnus Borre in second, but the OS front row guys really working nicely the outside line, and they're sticking up in this group of 7. I hope that was not a major incident, but I think we would have reacted. That was close.
That nearly was a major incident.
Yeah.
Trying to take it 3 wide. Gomez was in the middle briefly, and then he had another very scary moment just there. Everybody's abandoning him though and going to the bottom line, and there's another car coming up here it's Toralbo again, who's not really had the greatest race, it has to be said, as Berto is going all over the place here at the moment. He's just got himself back into line, though, as they're pushing once again. Toralbo stays wide, which is where you should be if you're a lap car, and he's done that very well indeed, getting out the way nicely. But we do have another couple of cars catching on from further behind. They're both FRA. Sven Gilhode and Alessandro Valente have both been drafting very, very well.
There's a spin in the background. That was Lucas Miranda once again. Sorry to interrupt you on that. I think he got help from one of these guys around him. Or wasn't he? No, he just basically spun on his own.
That's bizarre.
On the wrong lap. Just go ahead. Yeah.
That does sound bizarre. But we'll get a look at that if we can. About what's happened there. We're staying green though for the moment at Daytona with still 56 laps to go after the end of this one. We're on lap 44 and it's Larinavicius currently leading us ahead of Carl Magnus Borre, who's in second, pushing well and getting pushed quite well as well from John McDonald, the Australian driver in the number 14 car. Muniz and Berto trying to make it work on the outside line, as that's Gomez, who's had some kind of problem. Mateus Gomez, who was in this group a moment ago, he's coming out the pit lane now, clearly had some kind of problem along the way.
Yeah, he just bailed out for whatever reason and decided to go to the pits. I hope he hasn't had too much of an issue and is fixed now. John McDonald on the controller, actually one of these few guys that run these races in on a gamepad. Trying to not push too aggressively or hold the line steadily. But at this point, as I said before, Laurentius is not much under a threat at the very moment. As I say that Karl Magnus Borre tries to make it too wide, and the US front row guys have a good run here at the inside line, and I think they just decide to bump draft Laurentius and try to profit from a lot of wobbling going on.
A lot of weaving, yeah. A lot of sliding, a lot of out-of-control cars almost at this point. But Berto and Muniz did a very good job there. The two front row cars are working together quite clearly. They're working together. And now they're going to dump Larinavicius completely and go to the outside line, try and take the lead away. But Larinavicius is going to have help on the bottom in a minute. Although Muniz and Berto do indeed get to the lead. Very, very well worked from the two front row cars. And that's the advantage of having number of cars from the same team in one group, is that you know that if you pull out of line, then your teammate is going to come and help you. That's the advantage that front row have got right now, and FRA have got as well, because they've got 3 cars in this front group.
It's heating up very much now. I can already see the next full course yellow coming out, if I'm honest, but for the moment it works very nicely, as you said, and just the slingshot that Borre and Laurentius have from their pretty much pristine cars compared to all these guys around them, it's gonna help them a lot in the long run, and it was spectacular to see how these guys were basically able to just dart out of the slipstream and nearly made it work. Unfortunately for Laurentius, his run wasn't too great, and Borre decided to stay in the draft. But yeah, that's basically our grid for now. And now Laurentius has another good run, but he decides to stay back once again, not going to the outside, and Muniz back into the lead. He was in the lead before he got helped by the car who's in second. That is
it's going to be a big crash. Borre goes around, and we've got a big crash. Larinavicius is involved as well. It looks like they're all going to carry on. Borre goes back up the track, and Toralbo has to just avoid him. Oh, that was a very, very big moment. Larinavicius gets out of the way. We're under caution again. I'm amazed. Only 2 cars got involved in that crash. Everybody else avoids them. As I said, I'm absolutely astonished that only 2 cars got involved.
Yeah, as I said, that was basically coming up with announcing itself that there's going to be some issues going on. But as you said, thankfully everyone was able to avoid them, bar Borre himself, who was caught up in this one. I'm just checking in on the replay to see who's clearly been at fault, or if there was anyone to be at fault at all. I think Borre he just slightly ran out of the line, tried to dart back in, and Laurentius just spun him around then because he was holding the line. Unfortunate for both of them. Luckily, Borre was able to stay out of the wall. Laurentius very much wasn't. But as you said, not much damage done to either of the other cars, which is good news indeed.
Yeah, it was a 10-car train that was going on there, and Borre was in third place with Larini and Vicious in fourth there. That's why I was very, very fearful for everybody that there was going to be a big accident there and there was going to be 10 cars involved. But no, in the end, only 2 cars. And that was quite remarkable indeed. We've seen some of these incidents where there have been 2 to 5 cars involved in them, but we've not really seen a real big crash with upwards of 10, 15 cars involved. So maybe that will come at some point. Maybe we'll get away without it, but we've certainly had plenty of cautions in the opening half of this race. 7 so far. This is the 7th as we're on lap 49 at the moment. Pit lane is going to be open, and I would say that most of them are going to come in here because if you top up with fuel, if you fill up with fuel now, then you can make it to the end of the race pretty much. But only Felipe Muniz comes in. Even his front row teammate doesn't even follow him.
Oh, sorry, I was stuck in the replay. I just noticed. Thank you for providing a live feed there. Okay, right. Yeah, a very, very odd decision from us front row to abandon basically. Oh, that was super close. Number 97, Gustavo Brzezinski in the Bravo Racing Team car. They collide in the pit lane. Oh, okay, that's odd. But I think there's some black, yellow, and white car standing in the way of Brzezinski. So
it's not ours. Definitely not ours.
No. Of course
not. It is.
It doesn't support the
it is. So I'm sorry about that. We didn't park it like that, by the way. It's been moved by somebody, but yes, that is ours. But we won't worry about that too much. 20 cars then are on the lead lap after that cycle of pit stops. People are out forming side by side already. Now, as I can see already, Gustavo Brzezinski's gone above the yellow line, the double yellow line before turn 1. So that's going to be a penalty for him, I'm afraid. But they're forming up 2 by 2 again. And that was a decent green flag run. I hope we can have it again.
Absolutely, yeah. You were talking about, as we basically just make it, we're approaching the halfway point, as you said that as well. You also said that we haven't had a big one, including 10, 15 cars. I think currently P2, John McDonald wants to have a word about that because he was involved in it wasn't 10, but it was quite a lot of cars. I think 7 or 8, if I saw that correctly. But yeah, hopefully, as you said, good. We had a good clean run under green flag conditions, and hopefully we're going to see that again. And the cars are bunched up very nicely. You can see who's that? Sorry, Jonathan Berto leading us underway, and there's already some pushing going on by John McDonald. He's pushing one of the FRA cars out of the way, but front 2 are completely clean, single file, and after that it's complete carnage. 3 wide by FRA guys, and number 95 Lucas Murnos once up there again, but it looks like everyone's staying clean for the moment as I go to turn 2 here at the Daytona Speedway, and now the bump drafting action goes back underway.
FRA now making a move to the outside line. This is the advantage you have when you've got 3 cars lined up all in one, but John McDonald is pushing well on the inside line there to try and get Berto into the lead. It's Valente versus Berto as they go round 3 and 4, but it looks like the inside line's actually prevailing right now. Lucas Murno's going to get up into 3rd ahead of Pedro Lopez, who might well get into 4th. This is really quite a big pack at the moment, with the Ford in 1st and Chevrolet in 2nd at the moment. John McDonald has gone, coming through the tri-oval, and he has completely gone for a spin. That's at least his 2nd of the day, and we stay green for the moment. Murno's got himself down the inside of Berto. It all stacks up on the inside line, and there's a big crash now. At least 5 cars involved. There's more spinners. Valente's involved, and there's even more contact. 2 of the FRA boys are involved. Another big crash. Larinavicius gets himself into the crash twice, actually, making 2 bits of contact, and that was a very, very big moment indeed.
Yeah, exactly. You were just basically, we basically cursed it at this point, didn't we? I'm just riding on board with Larinavicius to see how that went. He had a very, very good run through the pack until the crash came up. John McDonald, very unfortunate to get caught out by Lucas Murno, I think, but then again, he was wobbling around so much and not able to hold his line, unfortunately. I think that's basically down to damage paired with the controller. And yeah, after that it all went basically straight to Narnia, we shall say.
It didn't go well.
Didn't
No.
go well indeed. First time for today, Sven Gaylord was involved in an accident. He had some touches as well, so his car is not pristine anymore. And I think at this point, everyone's has been at least into the wall or into another car. So
I think so.
Yeah, it's evening itself out, which is good. Sporting-wise or competition-wise, it is good, but yeah, in theory, it shouldn't be that way. Very much.
It's a lot of contact for a lot of these guys, I'm afraid. Most of these guys have now probably been in some kind of accident throughout the day. The thing that was interesting about that last particular accident is that FRA, for the first time, have been involved. They've been out front for most of this race, almost in their own train, out the front of the field. But that time, it was all stacked up. They were in the middle of a big pack, and so they got caught up in incidents, and that's the kind of thing that happens when you do get back in the pack a little bit. You get caught up in incidents, and that's what happens to them, I'm afraid. So they're now going to be a little bit damaged, and I think there's going to be a lot of damaged cars down on pit lane at the end of this one. Joker Statis leads Pedro Lopez down onto the pit lane, and we're going to have a lot of repaired cars now coming off of pit lane, hopefully, in the next few minutes.
Yeah, Lado Ritz is into the pit as well. Of course, he was involved in a big one with one of the FRA cars. And these guys are all going for repairs, as you said. John McDonald, of course, taking the chance as well after his major spin. He stayed out of the wall, very interestingly enough. But I think he just said, okay, fuel tires, a bit of repairs, and then we're good to go until the end.
In the last few minutes, Angel Gonzalez has also retired from the race, I'm afraid. So we're down to 22 from the 26 that started this race. That's Matthias Gomez trying to get his lap back, if he's allowed to, that is. But I don't know if he is going to be allowed to here. It doesn't look like he is. So he's just kind of going to be stuck between the safety car and first place, as we've seen in the past. But some of these guys starting to form up too wide. Not sure if we're going to go green at the end of this one or the next one, but we're over half distance now. We've had, I think this is the 8th caution, so we're looking on course for about 15 by the end of the day, unfortunately.
Yeah, as you say rightly. But then again, we had some good. It was evening itself out a little bit. We had a lot more cautions at the very beginning of the race, and we had some good runs on the green flag conditions for at least a couple of laps beforehand. And hopefully, these guys have learned how to deal with that at this point and can make it work to actually provide us some good entertaining action under green flag conditions for a little bit of time.
Hopefully.
Car, and you take us on the way.
Oh, well, Gomez has already gone, but it's Berto who's in control of the field. He's got a 10-second stop-go for that as Gomez, but we're back under green flag racing at Daytona. 46 laps still remaining in the Daytona 250. First round of the NASCAR Championship for RACE9 in 2021. And we're back under green. Gomez is currently leading the field, although he is one lap down, although he's just unlapped himself from Berto just now. Somebody below the yellow line. Lopez. Somebody going for a spin. Lopez just about caught the car. Very well done in the end to have saved that car, but we're still under green flag racing. Berto now. Jonatas Berto taking the lead. Lucas Murno pushing him very hard through turns 3 and 4 with Richard Wanders just behind him. Felipe Muniz is in 4th. It looks like those top 4 are starting to run away from the rest as one of the FRA cars, I think that was Alfie Bevin maybe, getting a little bit loose and battling with Gabriel Peachley there, but the FRA guys are all still formed up. A little bit damaged though from that last crash.
That's
the damage.
Major spin. Back in the background, I think these guys basically made it to stay alert of what has happened at the front, but number 51 included in this one. Massively damaged car at the front, and number 97 Gustavo Brzezinski has also been involved in this one. But I think aside that, it wasn't too many cars. Luckily, everyone was able to avoid them. Number 51 was also, by the way, the one who pushed Pablo Lopez to the... number 51 and number 97 were very racy at this point, and they basically just decided to take each other out, unfortunately. And there are some other guys involved, but that's been no good for either of them. And yeah, big shame. We're going to drive through penalty. Yeah, Gomez, it is. Yeah, exactly. He's currently in the lead of the field, of course, not in P1. No, it's not. Huh?
He's,
okay. Sorry, I got confused.
He's got back a few, but yeah, he's there. He is. He's in fifth place in the train, but we'll be getting his lap back here because he's the lucky dog. So he will be going through, and there he goes. So he's going to get his lap back, and we're going to get 20 cars on the lead lap now. After that one, still Taralbo and Vinicius still one lap down, and they're going to be hoping that they can get themselves in the lucky dog position for this particular lap. But one lap with the pits lane open, and then we'll have maybe one or two more laps until we go back green again. But I believe this is the ninth caution of the race, maybe, with still over 40 laps remaining.
Yeah, it wasn't or it wasn't very long of a green flag run, unfortunately. We just requested it, but our request apparently wasn't heard by the drivers.
No.
But the front group was actually looking quite, despite being very racy in general, they looked quite clean, to be fair. As we can see, Jonathan Spirito just going into the pits, and one of his front row teammates going into the pits as well. Right behind that must have been Lucas Miranda, if I didn't see that wrong.
Felipe Muniz has followed him in the 18, and then who else has come in? Somebody else did. Lucas Miranda's in the pit lane repairing damage. Victor Angel is also, as well as Pablo Lopez, who had that big save we saw a few moments ago down on the bottom of the circuit. But everybody just getting themselves fixed with regards to damage, and we're going to have a new leader to take this next restart. Lucas Murno is going to be taking it, but these FRA cars are starting to creep their way back towards the front again, and so they're going to be real factors in this race from now on. Probably going to form up together on either the bottom or the outside line. You can see the four of them there. They're clearly going to work together, and they might get to the lead by the end of this next green flag run.
The aero damage that Alessandro Valente, it is, yeah, right, number 87, it's quite astonishing that he's still up there. There's some white card doing some very interesting stuff. Is he trying to get his lap back, but is not allowed by the game? Okay, at this point it's getting weird. And Lucas Murno doesn't really like the whole concept of Oh, there's some FRA car dropping out. Who's that?
Yeah, one of them has just pulled off the circuit there, for whatever reason that is.
23, Alfie Bevan.
Alfie Bevan, yeah. For whatever reason, he's just pulled off the circuit and gone. So I don't know what that's all about, but I'm afraid he's going to be maybe out of the race here. He's certainly off the back of the train, but lights are off on the top of the safety car. 42 laps to go at Daytona. For the Daytona 250, Taralbo already goes. He's going to get a penalty for that, I'd imagine. But he's actually got away with it. Lucas Murno then accelerates away, and we're back under green again. Gabriel Peasley is behind him. He's going to give him a big push right now. And Richard Wonders is going to fall into line. Few less cars left in the race as Alfie Bevan has indeed retired. Real shame to see the DNF next to his name at the end of all this. But we're single file at the front of the field. And Jesus Chirinos has got himself on the back of this train. We've not seen very much of him so far today. He was involved in that one crash, but he's not been up towards the front like this.
Yeah, good chance for him to get back into action as well. Of course, Vangelo just slowly but steadily crept back into P6 as these guys now overlap the car on the outside once again. So no lap back for him at this point, but he'll certainly get his laps back. Okay, mid-pack's looking also quite okay. Going a little bit too wide there, but that aside, it looks very civilized this time by. And that's good news indeed. Joe Garcia's pretty much on his own at this very moment, but he'll surely try to catch back up to the guys in front. He's in P8, and looks like the top 7 once again breaking away very slightly, and P9 to P down the rest of the field. It's very much in everybody's game to catch back up to the front. Hope these guys realize that they have to work together. There's one of the lap cars in between there as well. Number 16 it is. That number 16 was going very high. Owen is now got to the apron, but he made it safe somehow.
Wow, good save. Everybody
Absolutely.
stays green in the end of the outside line, starting to form in this group now. And Taralbo's going free wide. He's going to get spun.
Yes.
And there's going to be a big crash here. There is a huge accident with about 10 cars involved. John McDonald in another accident, I'm afraid. Jonathan Spurto, the leader in a few moments ago, is in the grass. Lorinavicius is in the crash once again. Victor Angel's just managed to avoid it, but goodness me, what a big crash that is. Felipe Muniz is also involved in the number 18 car. That was a real big accident.
Yeah, I mean, the way how these guys were racing each other for basically the whole lap, going 3 wide, that was coming a long way. I'm trying to catch up to see what exactly happened to these guys. I think the 19 it was, and the overlap, who is a lap down, and the other overlap car, you got the name right.
Gabriel Taralbo is the one who's
Gabriel Taralbo, okay, I've got that sorted, thank you. They just collided. Yeah, Taralbo was trying to get into the slipstream of Jogos Titus in front, and then basically everyone's gone, and yeah, no chance for these guys right behind to avoid it. I think there hasn't been too many cars into the wall though, so not much aero damage given in general for these guys up front. Behind that spin of Taralbo. And yeah, race control got another thing to look at, and we got another full course yellow.
Yeah, I believe this is the 10th. I'm not quite sure, but I believe it is at this point. As I said earlier on, I have lost count. So there have been a lot so far, is all you really need to know. But Lucas Murno is leading the race now. And Gabriel Taralbo, who we just saw there, was in that accident, has been trying to get his lap back for lap after lap after lap, and caution after caution. He's just not been in the right spot. And again, because he got caught up in that accident, which is the first real big crash of the day, I would say. There was at least 8 cars involved in it. And so a lot of damage going on. Yeah, it was Taralbo who is now still a lap down, because the lucky dog position has been given to Carlos Vinicius, because he was able to keep out of the crash. Taralbo was in it, so Vinicius was in front. And so it changes all again, and Taralbo's still in the 1 lap down position. But Lucas Murno is into the pit lane. Gabriel Peachley follows him, Pedro Lopez as well. And we have some more pit callers here. It'll be the last stop of the race.
Hopefully, as long as it can stay clean for the rest of the race and don't get much more damage. Number 90 it is, Jonathan Holland into the pits as well, as is Mateus Gomes, and of course, basically everyone who's got involved in this one, I think. So probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, number 10, number 13, side by side out of the pits. 8 cars involved at least, aside Lucas Murno, and the Bravo Racing guys, of course, who just pitted for a regular pit stop, I think, and they're now trying to catch up to the cars in front, number 10 and number 13. That is, yes.
That is yes.
Yes, exactly.
But, we don't know who it is. Basically, the quick pit stop there for Vinicius.
Right. Okay. Sorry to interrupt you there. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you go on. I wasn't there.
Okay. Quite an interesting or fun fact this time by. We got another Dutchman in the lead. It is not Sven Gelo this time by, but Richard Wanders, who's also racing for FRA Sim Racing, who has raced for them before. And these guys now basically 4 teammates, more or less, FRA and FCR basically associated with each other or sharing drives beforehand. And these guys have now a 4-car pack at the front, or at least FRA with 3 cars in 2, 3, and 4. So they're gonna have a good run, and they know how to work together. So I assume the safety car, it comes back in, and they will surely try to make it work for them.
Joe Gustatis is also on the outside line there for FR8, so he's going to help them out, and they're going to get a lot of pushing going. They're trying to get to the bottom immediately, though, and it's not quite worked out as well as they wanted. Richard Wanders has got the lead here, but he's out all on his own, really. No help. A little bit of contact between teammates there. Volante is on the inside line, but he's got a very crumpled nose at the moment, and so aero damage is really affecting him, and he is actually letting Warners get away. You can see, by the way, Chirinos is having to push Volante at the moment, that he's actually not really able to get the pace on here, but now he's got some real speed, and Warners is going to have to defend a little bit and block him. He does indeed, and there's a lot of pushing going on the inside line. So Warners and Volante have managed to do that well, but the FRA guys on the outside have really not had a good start. There's a big spinner for one of them. It goes back up onto the circuit. Grimminger has gone round for another spin, at least his fourth crash of the day, and we go under caution again.
And this was not only for us, surely not only for us getting frustrating. The safety car will come out in the middle of the track. So I hope everybody is aware of that the safety car is going to be very, very slow this time. But no, actually, it came out a little bit earlier than it did before. So
and it's caused a crash.
Yeah, it just caused a crash, of course. I say, of course, it is not.
But Muniz has gone upside down. Muniz has gone upside down here.
What?
Felipe Muniz.
Yeah, right.
Because of the crash, and he's into the floor. So, well, there he goes back onto his wheels again. But that was quite a remarkable situation. Gabriel Toralbo is in the incident again, I'm afraid, in 21st place, and he's going to be a lap down again, I'm afraid. So, it's no surprise to see that the safety car there coming out so slowly that it was going to cause an accident. I'm afraid there's 2 more damaged cars because of it.
Right, so just to catch up who was involved in this one, it was basically Laudinavicius himself getting into the rear of one of the Bravo Racing Team guys in front, and there was separately from that, there was number 88 and number 13 involved. They also got caught in the spin, and basically 2 separate incidents in the same corner. And now let me see what happened to Felipe Muniz exactly as I'm trying to find him in the replay. Where is he? Here, I got him. Okay. He was approaching turn 2, and he just ran into the back of the safety car, as well as Toralbo as well. You said that. And Muniz then didn't slow or didn't roll down onto the apron, and just stayed on the banking and then got flipped by Miranda. So that's that explained. But he's into the lead now. Okay, how did that happen?
Pit stops have happened for Richard Warnders, and Carmenas Borre has also been in. So a number of DNFs in that one, I'm afraid. We're down to 19 with Lucas Miranda, and Sven Gilhard, the pole sitter, GT4 champion, and looking like he was going to be a race winner here at the Daytona 250 as well. But he's retired from the race, leaving his FRA teammates to it. And that is a real shame. Yeah, he's gone completely out of the race.
He did. Okay. Oh, there was a disconnect.
Oh, no.
That was a disconnect. It was right in the queue behind the safety car and basically just got ported back to the pit lane. So, that's bad news for him. And so did Lucas Miranda as well. He also got a disconnect.
Oh.
I wonder if that was a chain reaction going on, perhaps.
Possibly. I don't really, I don't know. But Sven Gilhard was looking like one of the favourites maybe to take the victory in this race. As we're about 2/3 distance with 1 hour and 20 on the clock already. So that's still a long way to go in this race. Probably about 40 minutes the way we're going. 1/3 is taking 40 minutes. We've still got another 40 to go. So, still plenty of racing left. Hopefully, a little amount of cautions. But the way these guys are going at the moment, we're bound to see another few. Down to 19 cars, though, which is going to decrease the likelihood of accidents a little bit. And let's hope they bounce back a little bit at next race, which is at Fontana. But back under green once again. Lucas Murno's got a fantastic jump there on Felipe Muniz, who's not had the best start in the world. As he's getting a bit of help as well from Gabriel Pichli is Lucas Murno, and he's to the lead, able to get to the bottom as well. It's Angel Gonzalez pushing him. Or Victor Angel, sorry. Wrong person. Yeah. Inside line for him, though, and they're all going to stream die on the outside. Lorena Vickius making it free wide. Bit of a contact, and he's gone to the inside. He's saved it, though, has he? He's going to have to come back onto the circuit.
Oh, what are you doing?
Oh, this is a big accident now. A number of cars involved, very good cars, and Pedro Lopez is involved. Valente involved, Jonathan Houlihan, who's been getting himself a clean race so far. I didn't quite see where he came back onto the circuit, but by the sounds of it, it didn't look like it was the best positioning to come straight back up.
Right. I mean, surely there's some frustration going on between drivers. I understand that, but number 91, Jonathan Esperto, he really has to ask himself what the hell was going on through his head, rejoining that aggressively, basically into the park. He collected number 10, and then it all went downhill for basically everyone involved. Luckily enough, basically one of those running jokes, because Salios Laurevicis was involved in so many accidents before, he wasn't involved in this one. So, yeah. Jokes aside, I think I can see a lot of drivers getting frustrated at this point. And, yeah, of course, another full course yellow out. So that means it is our 12th, according to your counts, if I'm not completely wrong. But let's quickly catch back up to that restart that just happened, because these Bravo Racing guys are absolutely outstanding restart, as you said. Muno basically darting into that was super close to Tortoraldo, who's trying to finally get his lap back.
Get it?
He got it. Okay.
He did. He's on the lead lap.
Wow. Okay, that's new for him.
Yeah,
haven't been there in quite a while. But anyways, back to what I was about to say. These Bravo Racing guys work together very nicely. Muno and number 13 is Peckley. Yeah, exactly. Both of them are also quite fast drivers. Muno, of course, in perhaps another league on his own. But these guys have good chances now to work together to the very end, and profit from all the chaos that was going on around them. As we know, see number 18 into the pits, and number, I think, was Jesus Junius also in the pit, as Mateus Gomez, as Jonathan Houlihan, and Jonathan Esperto in the 91 machine.
Yeah, some pit stop callers, but if you're making a pit stop at this stage, then you don't need to make any more afterwards. You can just go to the end from here, certainly, very, very easily indeed. Discord is blowing up in my head, by the way. I'm not sure what's going on, and I hope it's not entirely the .race9 channel, because otherwise it might be, but I'm hoping not, because that's a lot of messages. And I'm presuming there's going to be quite a lot of people quite angry with each other at this point. Tempers are going to start to really show. There's going to be a lot of people not pleased with the outcome of this race so far, and if they're out of the race already, then they're going to be displeased with each other, certainly. But let's hope that everybody returns, and we maybe even get even more cars, if we're very lucky, to Fontana, which is 2 weeks away, and second round of the championship. Sorry.
Yeah, right. Surely there will be some improvements in terms of mod and sporting regulation, or basically mod building and sporting regulations. Let's see how these guys will be able. Quickly back to, sorry, my connection dropped there. I think. Quickly back to Sven Geelhout. He indeed had a disconnect. He just wrote that in our Discord, and he also was, as you said, quite unpleased with how things developed for him in general. But yeah, plenty of time, 2 weeks' time to get all the issues solved, and hopefully we'll see a race with less attrition at the next round. But we still got 30 laps to go at this very one, and nevertheless, despite all these cautions out, I think when we were under green, we saw some good racing going on, and it was certainly entertaining. So that's basically that's a positive thing to take away so far, and let's hope these guys can entertain us a little bit more for 30 laps, or at least to some degree 30 laps.
Yeah, it might not be 30 laps under green, we'll put it that way. But while we're on the subject of the next couple of weeks and what the future brings in terms of this championship, I'll just run through the schedule. I believe this is the one, the updated one. It is on the Wikipedia page, so I'm hoping that is the updated one. But from what I can see, it's got 4 road courses on it out of the 12 rounds, which is a fair amount. The first of which comes at round 3 at the Circuit of the Americas. We go to the Charlotte Roval as well for round 5, and then Watkins Glen and Daytona road course are rounds 9 and 10 together. So it's going to be very difficult in terms of those particular races. And then we've got some more normal circuits. We've got one more super speedway coming at Talladega at round 7. And then some of the more normal circuits, like in 2 weeks that we go to Fontana and Las Vegas at round 4, Charlotte round 6, Kansas about a month after that one, then Texas and Homestead to end off the season. We don't have playoffs in this NASCAR Championship as they would in real life. We just got a normal championship, which is a little bit easier to work out. But we still have that final race at Homestead, and hopefully we do have a good championship finale down there in Miami. But either way, Lucas Murno goes very, very early indeed, and Gabriel Torralba gets his millionth stop-go penalty of the race. But Gabriel Peachley was the only one on his toes, really, and those two have immediately gone clear of the field. It's a very, very stretched out field, and a bit of a depleted field as well. We've only got 19 cars left running here in the Daytona 250 with 30 laps to go. Gabriel Peachley and Lucas Murno running away from the field on the restart.
There was some huge, sorry to interrupt you, there was some huge bumping going on in the mid-pack, or basically P2 onwards. There's now John McDonald in number 14, the Australian, trying to fight his way around the FRA cars, but he's struggling to hold the line once again. He's now in the slipstream of Solis Rodriguez. And there was some of these Furious Racing guys ahead. I think that is number 16 it is, yeah, right. Fortunately, I cannot see the name, but he's trying to... yeah, you got it in the live timing. Perfect. Carlos Vinicius in P3, and he's trying to stay in P3.
Spin for Boré. Boré goes around, and he's going to go in front of the field here. Is he going to be collected? He is. And there's another big contact for Vicar Angel as well. Big save for Berto, who's managed to not get himself involved. But Pablo Lopez and Carl Magnus Boré both involved in a bit of an incident there. It was Boré and John McDonald who were leaning on each other a lot through those corners, and in the end Boré went around, and in the end everybody missed him apart from Pablo Lopez to bring out another caution.
Was it Pablo or Pedro Lopez? Sorry. I
Lopez,
didn't get that.
Spanish Lopez, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Pablo. Okay.
Yeah.
Spanish Lopez, that works for me as well, because otherwise I couldn't tell them apart. Okay, yeah, as you say, we're riding on board. That was John McDonald coming down a little bit, and then, that's very unfortunate for Carl Magnus Boré. Absolute innocent victim in that, and yeah, as you said, Berto, sorry, not Berto, Jonatas Berto, as you said as well, really good save from him. That brought out our, is it 13th caution?
Something like that, yeah. It's getting difficult to keep count, really.
Yes.
But yes, we've had a fair few. Lucas Murno is able to keep his lead, though. And a word on Carlos Vinicius as well, because he's spent most of this race one lap down. He's spent it in incidents and all kind of different crashes. But the number 16 car has managed to get himself into third place. He was heading that big train as well that eventually caused the crash for Boré. But yeah, Carlos Vinicius has had a great recovery drive here today, and he's up into the top 3 spaces now, which is great to see for him. He's not given up throughout this race, and it's paid off for him.
Absolutely, as I said, really good recovery drive. Although, if it's enough to beat these guys in front, the Bravo Racing Team guys, you gotta get a really good restart to basically stay with them in the slipstream. If he's able to manage to do that, yeah, right, then he definitely got a good chance to stay with them, basically have a solid run towards the end. But at the very moment, it looks like Bravo Racing Team number 13 and number 95, as you can see in P1 and P2, not beyond the pace car. They working together really nicely to get away at every single restart. I can imagine them sitting in the voice call together and voice chat together and telling each other when they go, and that's of course a profit if you have your teammate right with you at the start, as we figured out before.
It does help to have teammates around, of course. That was close. Gustavo Brzezinski into the pit line again. Alessandro Valente also getting his car fixed, and his car is pretty much aero, or is good on the aero now from what it was earlier. He got involved in one of the crashes. Brzezinski's gone above the yellow line again there under caution, I'm afraid. So he might get a few penalties for that because he's done that at least twice from what I've seen. Carl Magnus Borre also leaving the pit lane now of Victor Angel and Gabriel Taraubo. So 19 cars still on the lead lap, 19 cars still in the race, with Lucas Murno now leading them. And as you mentioned, these two are from the same team. They're in the voice chat together and they're getting the jump on everybody else. I'm expecting to see the same again for Murno and Peachley.
Yeah, right. Are we going green this time by? I think so. Where
Looks
are
like
they?
it.
Yeah, approaching turn 4. Currently at the Daytona International Speedway. Okay, we're going to watch the safety car lights to go out at any moment's time. And yeah, there's been some shuffling through the orders as well in general over the last few laps. Lauri Witt is now back into the order as we now go green once again, and Lucas Murno accelerating very early. I can't see. Oh, Peckley lost it. Peckley lost it. That's going to bring out another yellow. Or does it?
Or does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Waiting to see. Yes,
Yeah,
it does.
It does. Definitely.
Magnus Borre's gone around again, I'm
Lopez.
afraid, and Carlos Vinicius was involved.
Yeah, Pablo Lopez is involved as well. Borre, as you said, has been involved. Oh man, that's been I think that has actually been the shortest amount of.
Oh! Another crash. Gabriel Taraubo wasn't even on the back of the train yet, and he's just got involved with Vinicius again. So a bit more contact even after the caution flag has flown there. But Vinicius is having a hard time actually getting up the banking right now and getting going again. But here he goes now. He's finally ready again. Final quarter of this race is coming up now. But yeah, another caution, I'm afraid. It's a real shame to see the caution out once again, and another 4-car incident.
I'm not entirely sure anymore if I'm stuck in the replay or in the live pictures. Okay, now I was in the replay. Okay, nice, got it. Right, okay, so we're back with the live pictures as well. As you can see, a bit rusty here on my end. I apologize for that, but is that gone green again immediately? No, I'm stuck in the replay. Okay, here we go. This is the live pictures. Sorry very much. As I said, a bit rusty here. Long time ago since I was streaming for the last time, but yeah. Has that Bravo Racing team number 13, has he come to the pits? Because he's not on my list anymore.
Okay. Oh no, he's just not crossed the line yet. Here he goes over. No, he has actually. So I don't know why that's happening, but yeah, he's just detached from the field a little bit, but he should be still in the race. Couple of pit stop callers. We've got Taraubo and Pablo Lopez and Vinicius as well, all in the pit lane there, but 16 cars all staying out, and pit lane is open again. But I think everybody's fueled to the end here, really, and there's no real need for anybody to come into the pit lane. I can't imagine that they will come in at all.
Yeah, right. But of course, repair damage basically stops. The aero damage is quite a thing, and of course it's better to get it out of the way. If you're last in queue anyways, just go into the pits, have your car repaired, and then try again at the very end of the pack. Of course that brings you to danger too. Sorry. Of course that brings you to danger because you're running at the end of the pack once again. If someone spins the front, you're most likely to get cut out by it once again. But if you're already last in the queue, as I said, doesn't really matter that much, and at least you got a pristine car. Oh, there's some starting out to the inside. Sorry.
That is a good point. So yeah, I was just going to say, Lucas Murno is it's a great story that he's now into the lead of this race with 23 laps to go of the Daytona 250. He's up 26 places on his starting grid, so he started dead last in 26th in the order. He was on the outside line for the 2x2 start when we got green for the first time in this race, and he's made his way up to the front of the field. I didn't quite notice that he'd come from all the way from last, but he's done a fantastic job today to get up the order like that. And yeah, we'll see if he can win this race, because that would be a great achievement for him to have gone from last to first.
Absolutely, you just said it. Absolutely right. Of course, yeah, he's basically doing the last to first challenge, if that's still a thing in sim racing. But anyways, he has some great speed underneath. He's currently leading the Indy qualifiers as well. in both classes, in the IndyCar Championship and the Indy Lights class as well. And he's now trying to bring us underway once again for another period of green flag racing, hopefully. This time by, however, without a teammate and Jogos Titus in P3. We were speaking about it beforehand. But Lucas Murno, as I said, without the help of his teammate, pace car staying out for another lap.
That is a bit of a shame. I was hoping we were going to go back to green there, but it looks like 22 laps are going to be remaining here in a moment when we try to go back to green for once again. Hopefully we do get a good green flag run here, but it's important not to hold your breath too much because incidents can happen. Let's hope these guys do keep it clean, but it's very, very difficult as they've shown.
Sorry, I just have hopes though. I'm still not giving up on that hope that we actually got that we're gonna see a good run on green flag racing. Next chance, as you said, coming up hopefully the very end of this lap, and then we hopefully gonna see 22 laps of green flag racing. I slightly doubt it, but the less yellows the better, I assume. So yeah, looking forward to that restart once again. As of course, Lucas Munoz is actually quite aggressive on that pace car. If I'm allowed to mention that, he's basically driving alongside it or close to it for the whole time of the yellow flag period this time by, and I think the grid has come back together once again. Yeah, the queue is pretty much complete, so we should be good to go once again this time by 22 flags. 22 flags, hopefully not. 22 laps of green flag racing, as we can see these guys pretty much getting in line. Number 14, John McDonald's trying to warm up his tires slightly, but yes. Let's see. Okay, lights are finally out on the safety car, so we gotta go green this time by. And let's see, when Lucas Moon does accelerate, he does have a good chance to stay in the lead, of course. And he does now very well. And Richard Warren is already going to the inside, trying to catch the slip. No, that was close between Lorenzo Vitius and John McDonald in the background. But that aside, it worked very well. I can't see any incidents happen at this point, which is good news. So we're going to do at least one corner under green flag conditions. And we can see here from the rear view cam of Lucas Murno that it's basically one line of racing at the very moment in the front pack, down to say around P10 when they go too wide, but that should be mighty fine. Jogos Titus actually with a very good run here on the back straight, and Richard Warren is trying to stay within basically underneath the rear wing of rear flap, whatever it is in NASCAR. I actually don't know. I'm very sorry about this. Trying to stay underneath the rear wing of Lucas Murno, who's just easily staying in the lead. These guys going too wide right behind. There's John McDonald involved, and Jesus Chirinos, if I see that right, and some of the Bravo Racing guys. And Vitius, Jogos Titus, John McDonald, and of course Lucas Murno. These guys have already broken away slightly. Felipe Muniz, that is, in P7. So another time we have a group of 7 in the lead of the race, and they're all going to go single file for pretty much this time by. So we have already a few laps of green. We quickly switch to the mid pack. As you can see, racing still going on very much. We are on board with number 97. That's Gustavo Brzezinski, who's made his way back up to... Sorry.
That's all right. But Berto was pushing Brzezinski very hard indeed. And I thought I was going to be a bit of a spin there, but we have separated out into little groups now. Valente trying to get something working right now on the outside line, but doesn't really trust it. 2 FRA cars involved here with Carl Magnus Borre as well. Down on the bottom, and Berto has saved it somehow. Has he? No, he gets spun around again, and he goes for a bigger spin this time. 4 cars involved, most of them continue pointing the right way. Gomez has somehow managed to spin around, and it goes under caution again. 1 car incident in the end. Everybody else managed to gather themselves together, but I'm afraid the caution comes out once again.
Yeah, I was quite aggressive bump drafting going on from all these guys in the mid pack, of course. Not sure exactly what has happened there. Assume Berto basically just got Valenti going to the inside, trying to tag for whatever reason Berto around, and then spinning him around completely. But that's caught everyone out right behind. Bad news, of course, for the which one is it? Number 51 and number 16. I forgot the team name. New entry from Brazil. Haven't been around our community before, but hopefully they will stay with us for the time being. Okay, group has already, or the queue has already, the group of drivers have already caught back up to the safety car, and shame that this yellow came out. To be honest, I think we had some good racing going on at the front end of the pack, at least. Let's see how it unfolds this time by. Top 7 were quite clear. Everyone else, of course, behind, trying to race for positions. And if you do that, with all the stuff that's going on, of course, incidents will happen. Didn't expect them to see that early, but we saw before what is going on. And I think, no, that's Swingate retired. I think it was someone else, sorry. So we still have a bunch of cars going, and all of them on the lead lap. So that's good news. I think Richard Wallace was thinking about pit stop, but he decided to dart back into queue. So aside with Heos Gomez, it looks like nobody's going for a pit stop. Yes, so he is the only one into the pits in the guest driver car. Unfortunately, hasn't signed up for any team yet, but of course, guest starts are always welcome in the NASCAR series. And he's going to slot back into the queue at the very end of the lap. He's got plenty of time to do so, of course. Right. Are you still with me, Ewan?
Yeah, I'm still here, so don't worry about it.
I was wondering.
Just leaving the pit lane at the moment. 18 cars are already there, and only one pit caller there, because there's no real need for anybody else to come into the pit lane. They've all got fuel to the end from here, we presume. Some of them might have a bit of damage on the cars. Frau might have a bit of front end damage because he's been pushing it. He's actually got some rear end as well from being involved in that one. Let's hope we can go green at the end of this lap now, because we've got most of the cars now into the train 2x2. So I hope that most of them are good, and I hope that they're all, pretty much all there, and I hope that we're going to be going green at the end of this lap. 17 laps remaining, and you've got to think there's going to be another caution, maybe 2, before we can get to the end of this race. But at the very least, it's going to be a very quick dash with 2 or 3 laps to go. And it's going to be a mad dash to the flag to see who can take the Daytona 250, the opening round of the NASCAR Championship. And it's going to be a very exciting finish. There's going to be some crashes towards the end, certainly, as lights do indeed go off on top of the safety car, and Lucas Murno's in control of the field once again. He's been leading for quite a while. He hits the gas, and we're back under green flag racing at Daytona. 17 laps remaining. Lorinavicius tries to get himself down. John McDonald shoves him back out to the outside line, saying, "You're not coming down here," and he doesn't in the end. Lorinavicius, no way through for him, and he's stuck on the outside all on his own with no help. Felipe Muniz lets him in, and now gives him a bit of a push through the inside line through turn number 1. It's all strung out single file in the end. Good restart from Lucas Murno, and pretty much everybody's single file. Turalbo's the only one who's really trying to make something work on the outside, but it's very difficult to do it on your own.
Can we mention that Gabriel Turalbo has just moved back into 11th?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. He's been out down the field for a long time, as Lucas Murno has been left all on his own there. Wanders went to the outside, and Gustatis decided, because they're affiliate teams, that he would go with him. And now John McDonald is trying to get involved here. So a leading 5 with 3 more coming up. So we've got a leading pack of 8 cars running at the moment, with Richard Wanders back to the lead. Lorinavicius is trying to lead a pack back on terms as well right now. But Gustatis and Wanders are affiliate teams. Let's not forget, they're working together. And so this could be a bit of a train now, because Gustatis is always going to help Wanders. So any outside moves are going to struggle to work.
Absolutely, and as we can see, Joe Gostad is absolutely bump drafting Wonders along the whole straight, and these guys trying to work together. John McDonald, also another FCR car, but so basically these guys are in P1 and 3. We're stuck with them, and we have Jesus Chinos, who's been so silent through the whole race, and he's now into John McDonald. He is. Is he able to save it? McDonald saved it, and Chinos also saved it somehow. He was gone into the wall. Yeah, but they all pointed straight forward once again. And now that is a real chance for Wonders and Gaustitis to break away, because Lucas Murno is out of slipstream for sure. And if it stays green for the remaining 15 laps, these guys have a real chance to be up there. But, of course, that bunched everyone right behind them together. So we now have McDonald. Who's that? Number 87, Valenti. And several other cars, including Laura Vicious and Chinos in a pack, and they're trying to catch up to these guys in front once again. So race surely not written off for these guys, and they want to go back into the position they were before. But as I said, Lucas Murno now definitely out of slipstream, is losing a lot of time to these guys in front. You can see the gap growing in the lifetime to the left. It's already up to 1.5 seconds. And if we stay green, as I said, Wonders and Gaustitis have really, really good chances to stay exactly where they are or swap positions.
Yeah, they do. They're in a good place right now. Murno is detached from the train, and he's going to be swallowed up by this group of 5, you have to imagine, soon as well, as it's getting very close. Pushing through 3 and 4, and within the last 20 laps, pushing through the corners is going to get a little bit more common, even though it's probably even less advisable with the aggression that's going to get really kick up towards the end. Larinovic is trying to go on the outside, but he's got no help from behind. He's going to have to go with somebody if he wants to go on the outside line there. 2.2 seconds up to Murno then, and they are catching him. So we could see a 6-car train here, and I don't know if they're quite going to be able to work well enough together to catch Gustatis and Wonders at the moment. But how long are those two going to work together? Is Gustatis going to try and mug him right in the last couple of laps? If this stays green, it's going to be between those two. But I can't imagine Gustatis is just going to sit there and watch Wonders take the win. He's going to challenge him, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially considering American on home soil. Of course, that's basically his series. And if he's able to win that, that would be quite some story. In general, I mean, he was involved in a very early spin. Was it in lap 1?
Yeah.
He got that right. Yeah, exactly. He was involved in a spin in lap 1 and just worked his way back up through the grid, and now is basically the win inside, right in front of him. And of course, none of them will give up on the lead and winning the Daytona 250 here at .RACE9 Sim Racing. But yeah, of course, as Ron Dennis always said, if you want to finish first, you have to finish first. And it's still 12 laps to go, a little bit less, 11 and a half.
Oh!
For these guys. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, there's no problem. It's a big push there from Muniz to Valente, which pushed him into McDonald, and there was a big slide there for the number 14, but he's gathered it all up, and they're about to catch up to Lucas Murno, so we're about to have a 6-car train now involved here. Valente is pushing McDonald and trying to get on terms with the 2 cars in front, despite the fact he's got a teammate up the road, and he might not want to help the guys around him so that FRA can maybe win this race with at least one of their cars. But Murno is now within the draft. He's going to start to get pushed by McDonald, or is McDonald going to go above him and try and go through? Valente is going to follow him, but Murno blocks, and now they're side by side going down the back straight. McDonald has been pushed to the outside line. Nobody's gone with him. He's tried to get back into line. Has he gathered it up? He has. Well saved in the end, even as well as being on the controller. He's managed to save that and gather that up very, very well indeed. But himself and Larinovicius now might well have lost the draft of those 4 in front, and this group has just got even smaller, actually. This chasing group, Larinovicius and McDonald, are both out of the draft, and now we've got a chasing group of 4.
No, I think these guys are full on racing for positions. I mean, these guys ahead are already 7 seconds up the road. That's quite a lot to catch up in 10 laps. That's more than 0.8 of a second per lap. With the damage that has been applied to Murno all over the race. I mean, he was in the lead, but you can clearly see from the aero damage he has in front, and also Valente right behind. These guys are basically, trying to get as many positions as they can towards the end. Of course, catching up is always an option, but you can see in Mono is still so much slower than these guys in front with their basically not pristine, but near to pristine cars. And these guys, as I said, surely know that they have no chance if it stays green. So they're surely going to go full on for positions.
Yeah, Gustatis did have that spin earlier on, as you did mention. However, he didn't hit anything, which is very, very important. And he's managed to keep his aero very, very nicely intact. And now it's getting very, very aggressive for third place. This is going to be a podium spot at the end of the day, let's not forget, and a few more points in the championship as well. So they are going to fight for these places. But how hard? Valente tries to go to the inside there. He would have got help as well from Muniz, but Murno didn't let him get down there. We've got Bravo Sim Racing involved too, as well. FRA Sim Racing, Front Row, as well as Seaforth Racing, Tyrannos on his own. So 4 different teams involved in this 4-car fight. So there's no team affiliation here. There's just going to have to be a lot of pushing and a bit of help. Valente goes around, and that could be the caution that brings everything back together towards the end. Is he going to hit the wall? Is he going to stay out? He does indeed hit the inside wall quite hard. He gets damaged, but we stay green.
That's a very odd choice, but to be honest, I don't know why we're staying green. If you're going to go full towards yellow right now, we got a good chance. You would have got a good chance for 2 laps finisher. But, of course, race control perhaps not completely aware of what's going on. So that even opens up the gap more towards the P1, P2 train, which is, of course, just 2 cars. But Valente also out of the fight for the podium. That makes it 3 cars remaining, which is Lucas Muno from Brazil, Jesus Chiros from Venezuela, and Felipe Muniz from Brazil as well. So all South American fight for P3 at the moment. And these guys up front now, 10 seconds up the road, and they will certainly be happy to say that they are so much quicker than the guys fighting right behind them on track.
Yeah, absolutely. They are really running away with this one at the moment. It's Richard Wanders driving for the Total Commitment Racing Chevrolet team alongside Joe Gustatis, the only American driver in the field for FRA Sim Racing. He's in that special livery as well. You've noticed the FRA cars have got that kind of the very distinctive look of the white, blue and the kind of purpley pink colour for their FRA cars. But Gustatis is driving a bit of a different American almost look to that livery with the white, blue and red instead of the kind of pink colour. And it's kind of styled in the stripes of the American flag as well. So he's got his own livery for this particular, maybe even the whole championship, at least for the Daytona 250. And he's got one of the best shots at winning this as well. With 5 laps to go. So it's Richard Wanders versus Joe Gustatis. They are continually extending their lead on the rest. 12 seconds to the group behind. 5 laps to go at Daytona, and Gustatis is in prime position here. There's going to be a big fight between these two.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I was confused for a split second because my timing was going a little bit insane, but everyone's just pointed the right way, and so we're going to say 5-lap sprint towards the end. As you said, finally, we got some good green flag action going on. And it's definitely, a good one to see that these guys are fighting so hard. Pushing, actually, they're still working together very nicely. But as we said before, they are surely going to race and give us a good show, at least in the very last lap, to see who's going to win the, Indy. I keep saying Indy. Daytona 250. And, it's all on for Joe Gustatis and Richard Wanders. It would be something for a European to win the Daytona 250, but it would be even greater, I think, for the American to do it. And of course, as we said before, these guys know each other. These guys were racing together as teammates, as opponents for such a long time, coming out from the same community background, back at other sim racing projects, I assume. And now they are here at RACE9 trying to fight for the win for the Daytona 250. I said it right this time. So, at the end of the race, finally getting things straight. Quickly darting. Oh, there's been a spin.
spinner in front. There was, I don't know quite who that was. Let's go and try and find that one out. It looks like it is Gabriel Taralbo again, I'm afraid. But if you just look up in front of those two leaders at the moment, there is a bit of a trend. Now, there's more smoke going on up in front. We'll see who's gone this time. Oh, there's another two-car accident with Gomez and Angel as well has also gone around. Victor Angel with just 3 laps to go. It looks like everybody's going to get back together. Angel goes back onto the circuit right in front of the leaders. Where are they going to go? They go to the outside. Ooh. That was extremely close. But this is the danger that the two leaders have got now. You think it's a fight between themselves, and it really is. Realistically, for the race win here, it's between Wanders and Gustatis with 2 laps to go right now. But they've got traffic up in front, and Wanders can see that. Is Gustatis going to try and use that maybe to try and get through on the Dutch driver in front? You can see there's, I feel it's Jonathan Houlihan and Carl Magnus Borre and Alessandro Valente, actually, all involved.
Borre and Valente?
Yeah, there is 2 FRA cars up in front, which is very, very interesting indeed. So they may help him. Borre gets out of the way nicely, and that's very good from him indeed. He's only going to end up doing 99 laps of the scheduled 100 here for the Daytona 250. And now we're coming round 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. About to go on to the final lap of this race with Richard Wanders still leading. A couple of cars up in front that Gustatis can maybe use to try and get through. White flag is in the air at Daytona one more time around, and not very much time left for Gustatis to try and go through. He's down below the yellow line. You can't pass down there. You're not allowed to pass down there. He's going to look for the inside. Is he maybe going to get it? Is he going to turn Richard Wanders to try and do this? Is this going to be settled in the steward's room? Let's hope not. There's 2 cars up in front right now. One of them coming up, Felipe Muniz. And now we'll see Joe Gustatis going down the back straight. Is he going to risk everything right now to try and get down the inside or down the outside maybe of Richard Wanders for the win? Maybe off of 4. He can go for this at the tri-oval maybe. But it's looking pretty good for Richard Wanders right now. He's got a good run.
He's got to have the run.
He's accelerating. He's got a big run. Wanders goes to block. Gustatis goes to the outside line. It's going to be side by side to the line. Can the American get there? It's so close. Oh. Richard Wanders, who wins the Daytona 250 by a nose in the end. Great finish, a great effort from Gustatis, who spins over the line. But it's Richard Wanders who wins the race in spectacular fashion.
And that's been some thrilling last lap action. We hoped for that to happen for so long. Quickly on the results, Mona and Chirinos crossed the line in 3rd and 4th respectively, so good results for them. But Richard Wanders and Joe Gustatis showed us exactly how it's done here around Daytona. And Richard Wanders and Joe Gustatis, of course, Gustatis will be disappointed for not winning it, but these guys can be happy about some impressive racing here at the very end at the Daytona 250. Kudos to them. Congratulations as well to Richard Wanders for winning it actually for FCR Sim Racing. I'm quite certain his team boss, John McDonald, after all the troubles he has faced himself, will be happy about his team winning the race as well.
There were 23 Fords entered for the NASCAR Championship this season, and only 7 of any other car. And in the end, it was a Chevrolet which has taken the victory. Richard Wanders, there's John McDonald, by the way. That's his car for Total Commit. He's delighted. Just look at that. John McDonald, the only Australian in the field, is congratulating his teammate for getting the win there. The number 27, Richard Wanders, is going to do a burnout and a donut for us. So is John McDonald, by the looks of things, even though he's not had the best race. There he goes. Richard Wanders celebrates in the end and gets crashed into ever so slightly. But he will be very, very happy with how that's gone indeed. There are only 2 Dutch drivers on the field here today, and we thought it was going to be the other one. Sven Gilho was doing so well, but in the end, it's Richard Wanders who takes the victory by 52 thousandths of a second. A great finish between the 2.
Right. Sorry for leaving you for a split second, but I was just clearing up Richard Wanders for an interview, so we will have him here any moment's time. I think the server is restarting at this very moment, so we will not see him doing any continuous donuts. But let's see if he's available. Sorry. I can't tap out of the game, which is very unpleasing, to say the least.
Neither can I, which is even more unpleasing for me because I'm stuck in it. But that doesn't matter. I was having issues of trying to flick between different applications, but that's don't worry about that. We're loading into another one. Well, I am anyway. But obviously they're not doing any more racing. The Daytona 250 is over. Hopefully we will be able to speak to Richard Warners about that, just about how he managed to hang on from that one. I'm not quite sure how he managed it, because I really thought you saw Joe Gustatis just pull back ever so slightly. You said it at the time. He was going to try and get that run off of turn number 4. And in the end, he really did get a great run, but Warners just about managed to hold on. So, congratulations to him for doing that. It was a very, very good performance, and I'm not entirely sure how he managed to hang on, but in the end, he just about did.
Right, and he's ready for the interview. Richard, man, congratulations. What a show you guys delivered us in the last few laps. That was absolutely amazing, man. How do you feel?
I'm fucking shaking. I feel good. It was amazing. My first win for FCR in this league. First win in this league, actually. It was really good. I had I was at the beginning, we had a crash, and I was down, and I was like, yeah, I'm never coming back up. But we just kept going, and pit stop made it work. So it's just awesome. Just yeah.
Ewan, you got any questions?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna ask actually about the final lap, because you and Joe Gustatis got away quite convincingly actually from the rest of the field. You were miles in front. It was just between you two. So what were you thinking with him behind? Did you think you were going to hang on, or especially off of turn number 4, he got a fantastic run, but you just about managed to hang on. So talk us through the feelings in your head over that last lap, which was what it came down to, really.
Yeah. At the first turn, I saw him backing up a little bit, and at the last turn 3 and 4, I saw him backing up a little bit, so I knew he was planning to do a run on me. So that's why I just waited for him to do that run, and then just blocked him perfectly. And he even said in a voice call, he did it perfectly, block, and it was really, it paid off. So that got me the win, and I'm happy that he was staying behind me for the last few laps, because that's how we managed to pull away. Just if you stay behind each other, then it will be all fine.
Yeah. Absolutely. One more thing as well, because we saw a lot of cautions throughout that race. We all know that there were many. We actually lost count of how many there were. But what was it like driving in the pack throughout today? We didn't see you out front for the whole of the race. You must have been in the pack at some point. You must have been probably involved in an accident at some point, because pretty much everybody was. So how was it driving in the middle of the field today?
It was quite hard because the slip team in these cars, if you are together, you just pull away, and if you're out of slip team, you're out of slip team, so you won't be able to catch back up. It's just I got in a wreck, and I was happy to get back out of it, and I had a good pit stop and made my way up. So I'm just nice. And I want to, of course, thank Joe for staying behind me and not going for the move earlier.
Right. I've got another question as well. You guys now finished your first race at NASCAR as well in Automobilista. You, of course, are experienced around Daytona. What about next one? How well do you know Fontana compared to Daytona?
It will always be a challenge to drive at ovals in a league, and it will be a challenge, but I hope we can do well, and I hope we can get another good result there. We will see. All right. We got a lot of practice in, and then we'll be fine.
All right. Thank you very much. Very diplomatic answer, I guess. Ewan, you got any further question? If not,
not for or apart from to say congratulations on the win, and thanks for coming for an interview as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Enjoy your evening.
Yeah, I will.
Right, next one up for the interviews. P2 from America, from the States, of course. Joe Gastides, he's already with us. Joe, man, what a finish you guys have showed us. It was absolutely amazing. Surely you feel gutted about not winning the race, but giving us a good show somewhat makes up for it, does it?
Yeah, I mean, gutted is an understatement, obviously. Finishing second isn't what I came here to do. I came here to win, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think it was a good showing. Had some challenges from the start, getting taken out on the first lap and going to last, and then working my way back all the way up to the front. And then me and Richard just kind of were chilling up in the front for like the last 20 laps. We got lucky, no more cautions, and that just kind of set it up.
I want to go back briefly to the lap one incident, because you were pretty much one of the first. It got a bit scary through the very first turns of the race. But you mentioned you had that spin there. What was or how did it happen? And did you pick up any damage from that, or were you completely fine?
Yeah, pretty much what happened was it was quite simple actually. Because I started fifth, I think. Basically what happened was I was boxed in between two cars that were bump drafting each other, and then that just kind of spewed me out, because most of the time when you have two cars that kind of lock you in, you know, the game physics kind of screw you over. So I got sent down into the inside. I don't remember if I got any damage from it, but it definitely was a setback, so it wasn't very helpful.
No, I can imagine. But do you have if you could go back, I know this is a very hypothetical situation, I guess, but if you could go back to the last couple of laps now, would you have maybe tried a move on Wanders a little bit earlier if you had the chance again? Or do you feel that was literally, you left everything out there? Do you feel that was literally the only thing you could have done waiting for the very last lap?
I think that our challenge is that we kind of agreed to just bump draft until the last lap. That was just our general agreement. And then at that point, all bets are off. We caught some lapped cars, so that kind of didn't help out much. It kind of put us into a situation where I kind of had no choice but to stay behind them. And then on the last lap, I think the only mistake I really made was maybe waiting or I should have waited like a half a second longer, I think, because the way I timed it was that way as soon as I come out of the corner, I'd have the run. But he was in like the middle lane, and I wasn't expecting that, so I kind of hit him and then had the run. So I think if I was a little bit later, then I think I would have had a real shot at winning.
Well, it was a great effort anyway, and still second place is not a bad result, I guess. All in all, because of the rounds ahead, there's still 11 rounds to go in this championship. So unless you have anything else to ask Stän, then we'll let him go. We'll let him go, and just say congratulations on second place, and thanks for coming for an interview as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, enjoy your evening, definitely. Okay, next one up. We got another one up. It is John McDonald, the team owner or the car owner of the number 27 FCR machine, and who also finished in fifth place. It was South Australian here. John, man, that has been a crazy show, and especially at the end, winning the race as a car owner certainly makes up for all the struggles you had at the beginning of the race, right?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I was up front there for a little bit and I got turned into the outside wall, but got pretty lucky with damage. Worked my way back up there, and then towards the last, I think, 10 laps, got shuffled out again, which is just unfortunate, but I knew Richard was leading, and I know how good he is around Daytona. We've been around here a lot, so just tried to keep him cool in that last lap because he had a pretty good agreement with FRA. Work well with those guys in endurance races, across other simulators, and it's kind of a no-brainer to hook up at Daytona with just the drafting and stuff. You need to work together as a team. But yeah, last lap, all limits are off, and I just told him, drive in your mirror and watch the block coming out of 4, and he did perfect and got us the win, which I was ecstatic about, as you could see, I'm sure, and gave him a little bump after the end. But yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, certainly. I want to talk a little bit about, though, the fact that you're one of very few, if not the only person, one of very few people to actually drive on a gamepad. I believe that's what Stän said throughout the broadcast. So, how was that throughout, or managing the different cars around you? Because obviously it's really close quarters racing at Daytona, and you can't be that precise on a gamepad. So, just describe to us how it was in the race, being in those different situations with and driving with a gamepad at the same time, which I can imagine is quite difficult.
Yeah, so driving with a gamepad, I've raced on iRacing with the gamepad before quite a lot. And that game's very sensitive. It doesn't let you adjust. It doesn't give you the freedom of customization in terms of steering rate and everything like what AMS does. So AMS is a little bit better, actually, and a lot smoother to drive a car. But yeah, it's getting shoved from behind. You can't really, it's all visual, whether you get shoved or not, and just having a sense of speed. And if you do get that push, so when I was shoved and got loose, I'm not reacting to it until I can visually see the car's gotten loose. I can't feel the shove and able to instantly react with the force feedback. So that's probably the biggest issue, is getting shoved. But yeah, it's probably what cost me being able to run with that front two today.
Yeah, but I guess so. But either way, it's a good result for your team today, I guess, as we saw. You very pleased about it. So, yeah, congratulations to all the team, and yeah, thanks for having an interview for us with us. Sorry, after the race as well.
Oh, thank you for commentating. Been a pleasure.
Thanks. Right. Okay. Next one up, who actually returned to Discord for that interview. Third person across the line. Yeah, exactly. It is Lucas Murno from Brazil, who was also leading the race for quite a bit. And Lucas, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Nice. Okay. Ian, you got any questions to Lucas?
Well, yeah, first of all, I want to go back to the start of the race, because you qualified pretty much dead last in the end, or in the qualifying session, should I say. So how were the opening lap for you? How was it making your way through the field in the opening part of the race?
Well, it was kind of difficult to make up the field because, well, there's so much traffic in the front because there was 27 cars. I didn't make it a qualify by personal reasons. By personal reasons, I didn't make it a qualifying, so I started from the last. So I know I could get up the field, and well, that was kind of difficult to be there, to be honest. And when I've seen, because well, I was overtaking anybody, getting any pace, any space to be through into the attack, because when you was at the front, there is minus risks to stay away from the crashes. But in any part of the race, as you seen, the race was kind of like a fight. What I gotta say, for every part of field. So well, it's kind of difficult, to be honest. I was involved in the wreck in the lap 7 in a big one. I was involved, so my car was so destroyed, and I lost a lot of pace. But still, I have to find out some slipstream. My car is completely depending of the slipstream, and that was kind of difficult to stay, because some drivers like Richard and McDonald were working really well together, and that's was sufficiently. I lost the pace of the car because I have so much damage on the car, and I've lost a lot of pace. So this race was kind of lucky, and I was lucky to be the podium. So, well, as what I said is, well, I definitely grow up in this race, get up in every position, and in the end, I get a podium starting from the last. So that was a hard race, and still really good result after all. That's a really lucky race.
Yeah, it was a good result for you. But one thing, it could have been a little bit more, I guess. You were in the lead for a little while. How was it trying to lead the field on those restarts? Obviously, you obviously dictate the field and go when you want to. So how were you managing being in the lead and managing those restarts?
Well, I've got the pace from the cars behind, because they are fighting each other really, really much. They are really fighting each other, and that was the pace with where I could open a gap. If Beckley doesn't spin behind me, I could go even further on the race, but in despite of how it's cannot, I forgot the word. I forgot the word, but well, they're not taken away from the Richard runners because he have a more solid car than me. So that race was really kind of who is got minus damage in the race. So I'm not of those cars because I've got wrecked in every part of the car. So I know I couldn't win the race, but I tried to stay in the pack the most time as possible, blocking and defending like clearly. But well, that part of leading the race was kind of really lucky again.
I suppose so, but either way, you've managed to get P3 on the day. So congratulations on that one, and thanks for talking to us as well after the race.
What? I don't understand.
I was just saying congratulations on third place, and thanks for coming for an interview as well.
Well, thanks for the comments and in the interview. And well, I really destroyed full race, but well, that was a really survival race. And we hope in the next races we could see more racing, you know.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
We hope so too. Yeah, exactly. Well, enjoy it, day, man, Lucas. Thanks for being there. Right. Ewan, that was quite something, I'd say in general speaking, especially the show at the end, I think has really made up a lot of the pain we had to go through to get there, right?
Well, yeah, there were a lot of cautions throughout that race, it has to be said. 13 or 14 or something. I can't quite remember how many there actually were, but there were way, way too many, arguably. When we go to the next Super Speedway race at Talladega for round 7, I hope that things will be a little bit cleaner. They may well be by then, but yeah, certainly for the next couple of races, Fontana and Circuit of the Americas and so on, we're going to see more actual racing, as Lucas Murno was saying just then, more actual racing. But yeah, the final green flag run was great. The run to the line was fantastic as well, and it was a brilliant end to quite a chaotic race. But yeah, in the end, Richard Wanders was crowned victorious in the Daytona 250, and clearly very pleased about it as well.
Yes, that's perfectly a summary of the whole race, and I think on that note, we can end the stream here. You have the calendar open, so please just tell us when's the next race, and then we basically wish you all guys a nice evening, at least from my end.
Yeah, indeed. So make sure you join us in a couple of weeks' time. The 6th of March is going to be at the California Speedway in Fontana. Saturday evening at the same time again in a couple of weeks. So yeah, make sure you join us for that broadcast. It should be a fun one. If this is anything to go by, then hopefully we're going to get a good broadcast, a good end to the race, and hopefully a few less cautions. But yeah, until that race in a couple of weeks' time, we'll bid you a very warm goodbye for now.